Welcome back, everyone, to Raised by Spoilers. It is already 100 degrees in this jumper, but Merry Christmas.
And itchy
Happy
all over.
holidays. Hello, everyone. Joining me tonight, our in-house erotic fan fiction reviewer, everyone's goth mommy, the feminist warlord herself, Nintendo Geek. Bright lights.
So I feel like I've got to add that I do have a book of erotic fantasy module for D&D 3.5 edition.
Oh, Jesus.
What?
Were they having that?
It's a digital version, but yes, I do have it.
What? Okay.
I'll have to show it to you after.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
We'll talk.
On the other side of the table, ho, 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 he's bringing all the presents. Plebeian Adam.
Hi ho, hi ho.
Oh, my.
I know. I thought too late that we all should have practiced our like gremlin like laughs to be like like through the intro.
Oh, my God,
We should have
right?
done it through the intro.
It's the salacious crumbs hanging out next to Jabba in the palace.
That is exactly what that noise is.
We should go back and do
less
that.
alligator-like. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. That is exactly what I heard out of it.
Wonderful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, other popular pronouns. Happy holidays. What the fuck is Kwanzaa? Happy Hanukkah. I make the joke every year.
Every year.
Tonight's episode, we dive into what I would argue almost feels more like a Garth Marenghi script. A film that came out in June 84. June 8th. A Christmas movie.
That is
Hailed
weird.
under Gremlins. Distributed and released by Warner Brothers. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing, Bob, and I already screwed up the thing. But welcome back, everyone. It's been a month. Gremlins came out June 8th, 1984, under Warner Brothers. Joe Dante, Christopher Columbus.
Joe Dante.
Dante? That's Dante? That is Dante. That is Joe Dante, directed. Christopher Columbus wrote. Produced by a whole slew of people, including Steven Spielberg. Music by Jerry Goldsmith. Had a budget of $11 million and made $212.9 million back.
Jesus.
Was a smash hit.
Yeah, this isn't a cult movie. This is popular.
The film was rated PG. It was a summertime movie. Came out around the same times as Raiders.
No,
Temple of
it
Doom.
was
No, Raiders was way earlier than that.
Temple of
It
Doom.
was.
Oh, Temple of Doom, maybe.
It was released the same day as Ghostbusters.
The first?
Yes.
Yeah. And it was filmed the same time that Spielberg was filming Temple of Doom.
So same lot. So they
okay.
all were working together.
Yeah.
Rated PG. Unfortunately, the film is notorious for having a long-standing dread of angry mothers writing in and being very upset with a lot of the lines, dialogue, or even situational humor within the film.
I couldn't possibly see why.
I'll tell you right now, as a child, this film scared the shit out of me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's been roughly 20 years since I've seen it. So to rewatch it with you guys for our Christmas episode, wonderful. We'll get to the ratings, reviews, and all of the bullshit.
Sure.
But right now is my first impression within Gremlins, and then we go around the room. God damn, does this fucking movie hold up? God damn, is it gorgeous? Is it awful? And they're just gross. They're little bastards. So, Nintendo Geek, let me throw it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen Gremlins.
Oh, yes. Like,
What's your history?
I've
Give us,
seen
what
it.
did you think? And then we'll go
So
to Adam.
much like how Die Hard is your Christmas movie,
Yep.
Adam, this has always been on. I don't know why. We always ended up at my grandma's house. Well, we always ended up at my grandma's house in the late afternoon, evening.
Yep.
And I think because of how gory and everything it is, it's always on later.
That makes sense.
So
Sure.
this was always just on the TV.
This was on the TV at your grandma's house?
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie.
It constantly got syndicated. They made a fuckload of money off
This
this.
movie has made millions and millions. Yeah, no, I love it. I just thought, I don't know, as a kid, I wasn't really afraid of it. I was afraid of critters. I wasn't afraid of Gremlins.
Okay.
But also, I watched it on TV, so they could have edited it. Like, they might have had, like, a TV version, maybe,
That's
Probably.
that cut out some of the stuff.
That doesn't
The
surprise me.
kitchen scene maybe got edited a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have to edit that because I'm sure on live TV the line. What was the line of? Well, some people are are opening up.
Some people are unwrapping presents. Some are unwrapping their wrists.
Some of them are opening up their presents. Others
Oh,
are opening up their wrists.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a great line to have on public TV.
See, it's funny because I remember a lot of the movie as a kid being just mostly, like, I remember mostly Gizmo.
Sure.
I don't remember a lot of the Gremlins, and I think looking back now, I remember more of Gremlins 2 with the evil Gremlins.
So let
Yeah.
me just jump in real quick. This movie, for what I did a quick little Google of, lots of lunch boxes,
Oh, it made so
lots
much
of
merchandise.
erasers. Action figures were not necessarily cuddly as much as they were the soft vinyl plastic. I actually have the Gizmo. His arms click in. He is about the size of a pop can.
Okay.
And he is hard plastic. And I think it was my father's when the movie first came out. They ended up getting it. And now I have it in my second bedroom just because
I'm going to
it was a figure that they
assume-
couldn't get rid of because it was just, they were everywhere.
I'm going to assume one of two things with the toys. One, this was very clearly part of this was very clearly made to make toys because they had so many unique. We'll call them characters, gremlins.
Right.
But I also believe that either there is a metric ton of different kinds of pop figures of these,
Probably.
we'll get into
or
NECA
if
and the
pop
legacy.
was a thing back then, there would have been a lot.
Right. Well, Boblins and other things that would have continued on. And we'll get into the legacy of the film by the end of the show. But there was toys. There were toys sold to this movie to try to make a buttload of money because everyone wanted an Ewok.
Oh yeah,
So it made sense.
they wanted a Furby before Furbies were Furby.
Absolutely. Amanda, any other first impressions of Gremlins?
But yeah, no, it's always been in my mind like the Christmas movie. Because I remember last year we were brainstorming about Christmas movies to do, and you had said Die Hard. And I'm like, we have to do Gremlins. And you're like, what the hell is Gremlins? Because you've never seen it.
No.
Somehow.
Speaking of which, Adam, excellent segue. What do you feel like with Gremlins? Granted, children's movie.
Yeah.
But what's your takeaway? First film.
Wink children's movie.
Right. 80s were a different
It
time.
was way more adult than all I knew about this movie was I always thought it was supposed to be, it was marketed as not a horror movie.
Yep. Yes.
And a lot of children went to see it,
Yep.
not expecting it to be horror. And I know a lot of children, people our age that were children at the time,
Terrified them.
it terrified them.
Yeah, fucked them up.
I need fucked them up.
Yeah.
I know a lot
Absolutely.
of people.
Welcome to Raised by Spoilers. We're talking directly to you.
I like how nobody can see you do that.
Directly to you.
No, I felt, okay, it was fun in like a drug-induced high, but I can't sit here and say I enjoyed it.
Well,
You were laughing.
you were
aren't
laughing. You're having a fun time. I think I'll say this movie wastes absolutely no time with building suspense, playing off of Alien and films that have already come out, and winking and nodding, being like, "Oh yeah, these are big box offices, and we've all seen them." So this is a pop culture movie.
Oh yeah.
Hence the references of E.T. and Snow White and all of this bull. Like there's
Yep.
there's some pop culture wink and nods of Hollywood and just the bland taste of films.
Yep.
Or the creativeness and wanting to wink and nod at other directors that you enjoy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That being said, this movie wastes absolutely no time becoming a cartoon.
Oh,
Like going full fucking Looney Tunes of like, that's how you do it. It's just
See,
chaos.
Actually, I felt it took too long to get there.
I find we'll get into
'Cause-
it, especially when we end, like when we land the plane kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But yeah.
I thought that about, I don't know, 80% of this movie was boring. And then the only time I actually enjoyed myself during this movie was the bar scene.
Bar scene was good.
See, that was added after the fact.
Really?
Yeah, after everyone had done their actor lines and roles, they did 2 months of just straight gremlin shots.
Because they could destroy the puppets and everything at that
Yeah,
point.
and they knew that was going to be like the most, and they were trying to give his last name's Wallace, but the person, the main engineer of all the puppets, needed the time in order to set up everything and make like because almost every puppet is its own puppet. Like they made that many.
Yep.
So they only called where is she? They only called
The mom?
Phoebe Kate's back to do that bar scene. So that was she wasn't actually supposed to come back. Like they had kind of written that in after the fact.
Got it.
Because he would have just picked her up,
Yep. I see.
right? He would have just picked her
They're
up
like,
from
no,
work.
we need. So it was kind of a nice change of pace because then everyone isn't just working with puppets. They actually had another person to work with.
Yeah, I will wait for that scene because like I said, it was it was the only time where I went, this is awesome. But I probably went, this is awesome. I went, this is awesome not because the movie, I don't want to say because the movie earned it or because it was a good movie or anything, but because they basically just went, fuck all the rules.
Yeah.
Let's have a good time.
Gremlins 2 plays the same sort of way Ghostbusters 2 does as well, though, where you have the bar scene and it just goes, well, what if we get even crazier?
Yeah.
Right? And it's fun, and that's not spoiling anything for Gremlins 2. Arguably, some people would say Gremlins 2 is a little bit more creative, right? They had a little bit more of a budget because it's clearly made its money back.
Oh yeah.
But this...
11 mils, not a whole lot for a movie.
Not at all, dude.
With the
Not at all.
sequel, it was 5 years after this had come out, and they were still really popular. So Warner Brothers basically came to Joe being like, hey, what do we have to do to get you to make a sequel?
Yeah.
We really need to try to do this. And he's like, okay, but I want full creative control. And they're like, whatever you want. So the sequel is really unhinged because it really just makes fun of all the loopholes in this one.
Yeah.
And sequels in general.
I'm okay with that.
So it really pokes fun at Hollywood in itself, and
See,
it's just wacky.
I feel like I might like that more because this movie felt like it didn't know what it wanted to be.
Generic horror.
A generic horror, right?
Small town,
Small
Christmas,
town,
what's
classic
gonna
horror.
happen?
Or a wacky, zany, joke on all of movie creation because they had the film noir joke. They had the mystique guy on the with the bar with the poker game and the shooting of the gun, the gangster movie. They were poking fun of this, but it almost felt like they were trying to stretch their legs, but something was saying no, this still has to be a movie.
Either studio.
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, maybe.
No, Steven Spielberg. So it's poking fun at film school
Oh yeah,
and all of the homework you had to fucking do
yeah, for sure.
for it.
You could tell it was funny because you could tell that in all of the joke scenes that they had, they used proper filming technique that was classical at the time, and then basically put in Gremlins inside of it.
Yep. Why
That's
not?
what they
And
did.
The
that
Muppets,
is
right?
the joke.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the problem is this movie only had that for a short number of scenes, and those scenes I love because oh, I get it. That's this kind of a movie shot, but they're making fun of it. That didn't last. That lasted probably maybe 5-10% of the entire movie length.
Well, that's the parody of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
That's the parody of the Muppet Show. Because the Muppets did it, but PG and the wink and the nod, like it's a dirty joke, but also we can wink at the nod at it and not actually linger too long.
Yeah.
This was finally the, what if we gave it spikes and cover it in slime?
yeah,
Right? What if it's gross?
Yeah.
What if it is, hey, Jim Henson's doing some incredible stuff, but what if we really just took the piss out of all of it? You know what I mean? The interesting thing, what I find is some of the scenes, for me as a critique, almost go on a little too long. They set up all of the suspense and then we get a gag or we go back to Gizmo,
Yeah.
right? Like near the end with the car.
Yeah.
I like what they did and I like what they had there, but I feel like it just went on a little too long where in the second one, and eventually we will get to that, guess what? Christmas is coming. It never stops coming. It's coming. Christmas, run for your lives. But Gremlins, lingers onto those pop cultural references and those Saturday Night Live style pulp, satire of it. But yeah, the other interesting thing is in response to the critical response to this movie was relatively high. People loved it, but however, it was heavily criticized for the violent sequences. And in response, some of the complaints between Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, where they rip the monkey heart out and eat the brains. Spielberg suggested that the Motion Picture Association of America, the MPPA, alter its rating system within 2 months after the film. Wow, I've got a mouthful of marbles today.
You do.
I am so sorry. I bit my lip like 9 times. I bit my lip 9 times over lunch, and I am just awful. I'm swollen. Long story short, with a mouthful of marbles, this was the film, Temple of Doom was the film that introduced PG-13.
Yeah.
And really kind of fucked it up for everybody, but also gave them one fuck or stretched their legs and allowed the film industry to adjust.
So, okay. So because PG-13 technically didn't exist.
Did not exist
by
at all.
this point. They couldn't give it a PG-13 rating, so they had to basically jump between, what's that for PG-13?
R.
Wow. Yeah, so they had to jump either PG, is this PG or R?
That's it.
It's definitely more PG than it is R.
And because of these two movies, Spielberg is like, okay, let's get another rating in the middle ground.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Give me a workaround.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to make this kid movie a rated R.
Yeah.
And then part of the joke and part of the bits and the gore and the silliness.
So that's where a lot of the confusion of, is this a kid's movie? Is this the next E.T.? Because there wasn't that right middle ground. It's like, oh, it's PG, but really it's not PG.
It was also, you didn't see the bad guys.
Yeah.
It was marketed with just Gizmo.
God.
It was marketed with just Gizmo.
Actually,
So come see Gizmo.
Okay,
the
hold
cute
on.
Furry animal.
That's actually a topic I wanted to bring up while I was watching
Bring
this
it
movie.
up. Welcome to a topic within a topic.
I enjoyed the fact that they spent the first little they spent the first little bit of the movie setting up
The rules.
what?
The rules?
Well, no. Yes, the rules. They said that a million times. I get that. That's why it's so important. Not that the rules make any fucking sense, but we'll get to that eventually.
You can't feed him after midnight.
It's midnight. No pasta after the midnight. Anyway,
What's upset Tommy?
so they are setting up all these villains. Mrs. Dearly?
Deagle.
Deagle. Mrs.
Deagle.
The
Deagle.
real estate
Huge
mogul.
bitch.
Oh my god, they were setting her up to be such a villain.
She's essentially like the Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah.
Or you're...
She's way worse than Ebenezer Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge is like, I'm not gonna pay you. This chick's like, oh, by the way, I want your dog, and if you don't put down your dog, I'm gonna torture it to death.
Well, she's trying to get the bar to close so she can buy the bar up. And,
yes. And she wants to steal this dude's dog.
Which is a plot line that is so overlooked in this film.
the
I
dog-
love
torture
it, though.
But that's because it's focused on
The
dog
dog
torture.
broke her snowman.
Yeah,
Right.
so she wants to, what did she say?
String it up or something.
String
Or
it-
not string it up.
Mon-
As she gets her hands on it, she'll make it have like a very slow death.
Slow death.
She
Like
will
she,
put it in her dryer.
Oh, the
That's
high
what it
speed
was.
dryer.
Put it in
High-speed
the
dryer.
high heat dryer.
Yeah.
my God. So, like, this is probably one of the worst villains. Like, they're just so direct with,
Right.
like, this is how evil I am.
Yeah.
And there's very, very few levels of evil above that. And in normal world.
Sure.
And,
Sure.
so they set up her. Then they kind of set up the, I don't know, the neighbor, the tractor neighbor. Because
He is not a villain.
But they-
Mr.
Dog,
Futterman.
he
they
plays...
treat him like it a bit.
Oh.
They
He's
treat him.
just- He's like the neighbor where it's like, don't pay him any mind. He was in the war.
Yes.
He's all American.
But yeah, he's all American, but
very
he also like
right-wing.
hits on and is a little bit very much inappropriate with I'm forgetting her name. The
Phoebe Cates, Kate.
Phoebe Cates Kate, yeah.
Yeah.
With her. So they kind of set him up to not be like he's not he's not her the other woman's villain level, but he's
Yeah.
definitely someone you deserve some type of punishment.
So
They set him up to expect punishment.
he had done nothing wrong. Besides,
He just has
be a little
opinions.
questionable. He's got some questionable opinions.
He's got questionable
and
opinions. He's
I
a little rude to
hate-
his wife.
I don't want. Oh my
He's
god.
rude to his wife.
Oh my god.
And he's a little, he's not handsy, but he's inappropriate with Kate.
Listen,
He deserves some. They
fucking
set him up.
eggnog woke over here. All I'm saying is, and I hate that I'm saying this. I hate it. I'm falling on my fucking sword. One, it's the 80s. That doesn't excuse anything, but it's the fucking 80s, and it was, yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not complaining that they make him the villain.
Right. I don't think he's a villain. I think he's just misunderstood. He's a fucking drunk war vet.
Yes, but what I'm saying is they set these characters up specifically so that when they do eventually, when we see their demise or their death or their punishment at the hands of the Gremlins, that you almost don't feel bad about it. You're able to laugh about it because, ha, 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 it's happening to the bad people.
Homie. Oh, my God. Did we watch the same fucking movie? Are you fucking kidding me right now?
That's what I got from it.
The neighbor comes over and was like, hey, Billy, you still doing the thing you love? I'm sorry your car broke down. It's shitty that you bought fucking a Volkswagen. Says some relatively, problematic shit, but also who fucking hasn't in that era versus, well, you should have bought American, because that was the Nixon message, right? That whole fucking blue collar nonsense. Clearly a war vet and has some sort of PTSD. And the fact that, yes, Kate is getting harassed by him. And the thing is I don't think he was hitting on her. He was going off about Gremlins and talking about fucking spark plugs.
And they're like,
and how everything is getting,
home.
how everything in like small factories is getting shipped out overseas.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like part of this is why I'm driving a snowplow now. And I'm not working. Part of it. So there's this blue collar aspect of this guy who you're like, he's the fucking worst guy in the movie. And I'm like, he is clearly not a fucking villain. He's a man hard on his luck who's.
They went out of their way.
Adam hates the guy, and I will not stand for this bullshit, okay? The fucking snowplow man, the guy from fucking Small Soldiers, the neighbor, who is lovely.
They went out of their way
to villainize a man who fought for this fucking country, hypothetically.
Maybe not
for not our country, for some other country.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, for being like he's like the kooky neighbor.
They made him off and weird and a little off-putting so that when he did get hurt by the Gremlins, you get to laugh at the antics of the Gremlins rather than go, oh,
there was no chuckles from my end of the couch,
wife
sir.
Did nothing wrong.
There was no chuckles.
She was a sweetheart.
She was a sweetheart. She did.
Well, what? Quit fucking with the remote? You're sitting on it. That's Married with Children. That's every fucking TV show.
Yeah, but when that's the only thing they show, they have a moment of showing this character and they spend it showing him ignoring his wife and then going, the fuck are you doing wrong? Stop touching it, woman.
And she's like, you have it.
And then she's just like, sweetie,
that's
honey,
Married
you have
with
it.
Children 80s sitcom humor.
That still makes
I don't make it wrong. I don't think that it's bad. I think it is fucked up, yes. But
you know what? He is like the brother in National Lampoon's Christmas Story. You need that character.
Yes,
that kind of schmuck.
Because it's just schmuck. It is a schmuck.
It's a schmuck.
And then also in a
the
weird
town
sort of
crier,
way,
or the town fool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that nobody believes because he goes off the fucking deep end.
But
too much.
he was right.
He was right about fucking everything.
There's the Gremlins.
There's fucking Gremlins everywhere.
And the Gremlins took over his tractor. So
and murdered both of them.
Yeah.
Kill murdered.
Kill murder
They
death.
did a kill murder.
Kill murder death.
I think it's playing generic enough and relatable enough. And that's the same reason why like E.T. works.
Sure.
Where it's just like normal kid. Hey, Stranger Things. Does your kid ride bike? They can relate to random thing. Do you know what I mean?
No,
like there's just that through line of 80s nostalgia that I obviously am seeing with rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to go home and beat my wife because apparently there's a fucking villain in an 80s movie that might have drank too much and said something.
No, they just set up a lot of...
Don't sit on the fucking remote.
They spend a good portion...
I'm sitting on the remote.
They spend a good portion of the movie at the beginning setting up characters, and same with the cops. They kind of get the cops to... You don't feel bad about the cops because they treat Billy like a dick because they're a little bit drunk and tipsy and having fun.
Reagan era, all rich white kids, whether they're privileged or not privileged, are doing crimes, drugs, and raping women. Okay,
I'm just saying
that's the fucking era.
There's
everyone's stoned. They walk in and they're like, "Oh yeah,
No.
the sheriff reeks of booze." They already established that when he shows up and he's like, "Yo, man, you gonna buy this Christmas tree or not?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, we're all paying for it. Fucking sheriff, grow up," kind of thing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the plot of Gremlins.
But I'm just saying they spend a good portion of time doing the right thing, which is in order for a character to meet its demise,
Right.
and for you to not go drama, instead be able to laugh about it, they set up these characters with very clear flaws and very clear, oh, I don't really like that person.
Right.
So that when they do meet their demise, you get to laugh.
Right.
They specifically spend a good portion of the movie doing just prepping that so that they can kill them later and not upset you.
100%. 100%. That's why she dies in the fucking chairlift,
Yeah.
which is hilarious.
It is great.
I just think the man
Also, there's a
watching
really
TV
long stairs.
She's very wealthy.
Yeah.
She's very wealthy. Very wealthy. Each step is how rich she is. I think you're right. I'm going to take a deep breath.
Just chill, man, chill.
I think you're
God
fucking
damn it!
totally wrong. But I don't think he did anything wrong in the movie.
He didn't do
He
anything
fucking-
wrong. He's
he-
just not a character you like. You can be someone that you
I don't know,
you
man,
don't
'cause
like,
he's
but not do anything
supportive,
wrong.
and then he snips at his wife once, and then talks about
How is he supportive? He's like, you got a shitty car.
No, he literally comes down and is like, "Yo, what are you doing? Like, what happened to the dream job? Like, what you?" He's the supportive neighbor who clearly Billy is in this weird crux of his dad is chasing his dreams. So now we're gonna get real deep with Gremlins,
Oh,
folks.
yeah.
Oh, you motherfucker! So his dad is chasing his dreams as an inventor, right?
Yeah.
Billy now is has this weight of the world of his entire family on his back now, as he is the only one with an actual real job.
Yep.
Mom's a at-home mom. Nothing wrong with that. Go for it. Crush it. At-home dads, looking at you as well. Thanks for finding time and listening. But realistically, the dad is a fucking schmuck.
Yep.
I've got all of these things. I got a thing that'll shoot toothpaste in your toothpaste. That way, when you brush your teeth, it'll go top tooth, bottom tooth, one tooth at a time. It'll be great. Doesn't fucking make any sense with any of his inventions. There's barely any payoff with his inventions, and he can't sell any of them. So there's no money coming in.
Yep.
Billy busting his ass at the bank. Comes home every day, draws fucking pictures of elves and big boobed women in fucking Dungeons and Dragons art. And the neighbor is the only one being like, "Hey, are you still trying to submit stuff to the newspaper that you were drawing? Because I loved reading your fucking silly little goofy comics."
Yeah.
And then he goes, geez, I got to go to work. I'm already late.
See, and
they don't print those fucking comics
I
anymore.
read
and then
that-
the neighbor's like, fuck, I don't know how to talk or relate to this kid, but he clearly could have when he was younger. And now the world of adulthood is coming crashing down, and instead of providing for their family, the dad goes into fucking Chinatown, and it's weirdly, oddly sort of racist, but like off-puttingly, we feel a tourist vibe of which Chinatown? San Francisco or not? And at that point, fucking, you look at John Carpenter's Big Trouble Little China, and they do it way better with Jack Trenton going in, eating a bowl of noodles, getting his fucking thing, his clothes washed, and just relating and fitting in as this like 7 foot tall, beautiful blonde haired, blue eyed fucking hunk of a man fucking Kurt Russell is. Don't even fucking make it laugh. You know what I'm talking about. Good for him, Kurt Russell. You know what I'm saying? Back to fucking Gremlins. Gremlins, the dad doesn't bring a fucking paycheck home. He brings another mouth to fucking feed. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's really get into
After
the problem of this
paying
movie.
$200.
Right. Hey,
In
my
the
family
80s.
my family needs this money.
Yeah.
Okay? My family needs this fucking money, okay? And guess what? What does he do? He brings home another mouth to feed.
Yeah.
That's not helping any of the situation. Hey, here's this gift. Don't get them wet. Don't feed them after midnight because we can barely fucking pay the rent. The mom gets the phone call from the fucking landlord, and at no point we bring it up one time. She's like, bad news, but we'll talk about it later.
No,
Yeah.
Let's just enjoy.
No, she gets a call from Miss Deagle because Miss Deagle like owns the town.
How does
Yeah.
she own the fucking town?
No, she's a real estate.
oh
real estate.
my God.
Her husband was in real estate. She killed her husband. Now she's in
Clearly
real
did.
estate.
She-
I don't think we're in question.
The cats ate their
poisoned-
eyes.
Yeah, the cats ate his eyes.
Speaking of,
of.
all of her cats are named after international currency.
That
She has several cats,
That
and
is
they're all
amazing.
named
I
after
love that.
money.
I love it.
I love
Yeah.
that too.
I love that.
Good for her.
I love that for her.
Good for her. She hates dogs, and all of her cats are named
Because
after
she's a
money.
cat person.
I don't. Okay.
So anyway, Billy goes to fucking
like,
work.
I don't like viewing cat people as villains. I take offense to that. Says the guy who has his wife building a cat wall upstairs right now.
Jesus Christ.
Cat parkour.
So Billy goes to work.
I mean, pretty good job. He's like, what, 20?
He's a banker.
22, 23, and he's a banker?
How the fuck do you afford that house on just one banker's job back then?
Homie, it was the 80s.
It was the 80s.
It was the 80s.
Man, we're fucked.
You can work part-time
And it
at a
was the
coffee shop and afford a
80s.
3-story house.
No, that
Which-
was the 90s.
Which throws me off because you have Kate, who is working the same job he's doing, and yet she also feels the need to work a second job.
She's a woman.
Oh, great.
Doesn't
Also-
get...
Woman in the 80s.
Also,
Woman
she's
in the
not a
80s.
teller.
Oh, she's not?
She's an
I
assistant.
think she was like an assistant.
Oh, that's why. Okay. I didn't get that
Yeah.
part.
Sexist.
I just assumed that they were the same role because they
No.
kind of came.
In equal opportunity, still happening today.
Ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
that's fair. Yeah, that explains all of it.
Also, we don't necessarily know what happened to the mother,
Yeah, or
but
her
we
father.
know the dad died in the fucking chimney. Were you
Right.
not watching the movie?
We did know that.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
of course she's got 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's paying for her. She's paying to replace
Pretty
the
much
father.
everything.
I mean, I don't think you.
We're writing the fan. Amanda, is there any fan fiction for Gremlins?
I'm sure.
All right, you get back to us on that second. While we write the fan fiction and fill in the plot holes with the old mortar and pestle. No, that's mortar and cement. We're going to assume mom, horribly depressed, probably also hates Christmas,
Oh yeah.
possibly had killed herself.
No, she's still alive.
She knows a lot of suicide facts for a young woman.
Oh, good. Ooh.
How dark do you want to get with Gremlins? Katie inheriting the house, having to deal with all of the bills, and a
And
mom who
when the
probably
Gremlins
is
came out,
just-
she didn't go like, "Mom, I gotta go save Mom."
She was.
She had no
fucking
one to save.
no one to run to.
Oh shit, you're right.
Lights,
And they
also
never, when she got into her
not
house,
home.
they never showed anyone else there.
Nobody. Lights not even on. Billy walks her home. No,
God,
no
this
fucking
is
lights on.
Dark.
No
This
lights
is
on.
a dark
No
movie.
fucking shit.
I love that. Like
I
a
know.
kid would come to this movie,
Not see any of that.
and it's like, by the way, suicide rates increase during Christmas time. Aha! You're like,
Kids
Jesus
are opening
Christ.
their presents. Some kids are opening their wrist. Whoa.
What a dark movie.
My dad thought it would be fun to climb down a chimney stack and kill himself.
Hey, kids. We're going to spend a moment here. This is a Christmas movie for children. I'm just going to talk to you about my father dying in a chimney. And also, if you're very young coming to this movie, I'm also going to spoil that Santa doesn't exist at the same time in the movie while I tell you about my dead father. Thank you for coming to this movie. Concessions out inside.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the third act. Jesus.
Like, what a fucking dark moment.
Yeah.
So I just looked up just in the romance tag of like maybe a higher rating, and they're all about Greta, the female gremlin from the second one.
Oh, of course they are.
Oh, well, thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
I don't need to know.
Yeah.
We'll find it. We'll put links to it in the
won't
chat.
read these until later.
All right. John Reinhold talks to Billy about how he saved his job and has a unfucking nerving cocaine habit as a 23-year-old assistant bank manager, and he is
Junior
vibrating.
VP. He's
Granted.
junior VP.
Granted, Judd, in fucking everything,
Oh, yeah.
everything. Beverly Hills Cops, Roadhouse 66, fucking Beverly Hills Cop 2.
I'm pretty sure he
Soldier's
plays
Tale.
the dick every time, too.
He does play the dick in everything. Puss in Boots. Dude, he was in everything in the 80s. Nice little cameo from him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, total dick. Grow up, Billy. What are you still drawing cartoons?
He-
I'm 23. I look like I'm 40, but I'm
gonna
actually
be
23 and I'm a junior VP.
I'm gonna be a
He's
multi-millionaire
probably been
by 30.
Smoking since he was like 8.
No. He
But,
drives fast cars and fucks fast and does coke fast and does everything fast.
He was supposed to have a bigger role in the movie. He was supposed to actually be like a lead.
Another villain?
No,
Because that's
he
what
was
this movie
supposed to play
needs.
alongside Billy and Kate, but because they had such good chemistry together, there's deleted scenes where it shows that guy basically just locked himself in the bank vault for the rest of the movie.
It was never found.
And he was like in the bars, like having like a mental breakdown about the gremlins. And they're like, "Whoa, are you good?" And he's like, he's going like Green Goblin on them and stuff.
Oh, I like that. That would have been
But apparently
fun.
it's a deleted scene on the DVD.
Well, yeah. Because it is what happened to him.
A lot of like you said, the dog disappeared at one point. The mom
dog went to the vet.
disappeared.
Yeah.
The mom went to neighbor doctor.
Yeah.
I know I'm fast forwarding a bit.
No, we're moving. We're moving.
Yeah, I know. I really did not like the scene. I think you talked about it right at the end where the dog jumps out of the car after coming back from the vet.
Right.
And
Because the dog was strangled.
yeah.
Fucking very traumatic shit.
Very traumatic shit. We got to talk about that one.
We're going
Holy
back.
shit. But no, where he comes in and they're shooting it, the scene, like the dog's going to make an epic save.
Right.
And there's like multiple scenes where Gizmo and the dog interact as if they're going to work together to save something. And then Gizmo just comes in and saves, and the dog just is like, "Wolf, I'm here." You're like, why did they set up this like victorious entry of this dog for nothing?
I feel like the setup is just like dad's inventions because those clearly aren't pinging home a paycheck, so the dog doesn't need to either. But I feel like within that and the end of this film with Gizmo driving around in the Barbie car was just kind of like, hey, look how fun and cool this is. Don't you want a gremlin of your own?
Yes.
Versus who is man's best friend? Because the line of like, this is going to replace pets. This is going to replace dogs. This is going to replace. And in actuality, the dog should have been having Gizmo ride on his back in full fucking slow motion. And it'd been like, oh, my dog, who I've been completely ignoring this entire movie and who's been my boy since before any of this shit has happened, clearly jumps in and bites something because it's clearly like an actor dog. Like there's scenes where the dog is acting.
Yeah.
He's not like jumping
Her
around.
name's Mushroom.
Mushroom is doing an incredible job and did not get enough credit. Okay. Mushroom, beautiful dog.
I was expecting like the
Beautiful
scene
dog.
where the dog comes in and, you know, maybe just before the gremlin touches the water, the dog jumps, pounces, knocks it away from the water, and then that's when Gizmo does the light, the sunlight.
Right.
That's what I was expecting. 'Cause,
Or
like, that's
electrified
great.
it.
They're working together, or like,
Right.
you know, the dog. Right, the dog Gizmo's on the back of the dog.
Right.
The dog, you know, Gizmo jumps off the dog, and the dog gets the gremlin, whereas the Gizmo gets the sun, and then wow, they work together and solve the problem.
Right.
That's what would have been what I would have expected.
Right.
But it's not what happened. That to me is movie in a microcosm.
Yep.
Where it felt like they tried to have a movie, but didn't know how to do a movie. What they did know how to do was make SNL skits with gremlins instead of serious actors.
Right. And they wanted, yeah. Well, guess what? The movie was called fucking Gremlins, not Mushroom. Okay. So the dog did what she could.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, Mushroom is the dog's name. Barney is the character.
Who the fuck is the character Barney?
The dog's name is Barney.
The dog's name is Barney.
His,
in the movie.
their real name is Mushroom.
Got it. Okay.
Keep up
Steven
that.
Spielberg
Keep it up.
also said that also one of the best actor in the movie.
Obviously.
Actually, it's true. That dog was pretty good.
Fantastic in every scene. Practical, special, effects, stop motion. We get the Mogwai out of the box, and we get our first glimpse of Gizmo.
Cute as shit.
Really, eh? I don't like how old man it looks.
They
It looks so much like an old man.
they change how Gizmo looks in the second movie. He's more gremlin-esque here. And in the second one, they make him like the cute, cuddly version that you probably know, like that you remember being like the teddy bear.
Oh yeah.
They make him like cuter in the second one.
Yeah, I don't think he was that cute. Like I never liked the Furbies. I always thought Furbies were creepy
Well,
looking.
you were a boy.
Yeah, that's true. I think he's creepy looking. But he's still kind of got that big eye, doughy eye. Like, okay, he's non-threatening.
Right.
I should say.
It's a teddy bear.
Yeah.
It's not quite an Ewok. It's a teddy bear that lives.
Even
And
an Ewok
sings.
is cuter than this thing. Except for their beady little eyes.
I mean, the special edition where they move around. I fucking hate
Oh, they
that.
make the link?
Blah. Awful. Wonderful puppet. Wonderful animatronic.
Beautiful. They get some really good facial motion
Everything that they can get out of
out of
that. Fun fact: how
for 11 million, those are some amazing. Whoever did all that is
yeah,
amazing.
Amanda
So
can bring
I'm
up who did
gonna-
the work on those ones.
Chris Wallace is the man behind all the animatronics.
Okay.
You had mentioned that you were surprised at how well they were able to do the face.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ruin it for you.
Oh no.
So basically, he had a little face.
Please don't.
That would peel off. So the overall, like if he was happy, they would put on like the little happy face. When he was like really frowny,
And it could have micro adjustments within that face.
the motors would still move the face the same, but they figured, we're on a budget. The technology isn't there, so they made little little faces to actually have his like core emotion.
That explains why they cut to their reaction rather than showed their reaction change.
Yeah,
That
because
actually makes a lot
they
of
had
sense.
to stop, put on the frowny face, like when he was getting wet, or when he was really happy, they would put on like the happy face.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
but then all the under animatronics were still there. There was like 10 people
Still
controlling like one gizmo.
for 11 million, which is very little in the grand scheme of movies. That's still this movie was a mechanical marvel.
Yeah.
So, Chris Wallace, fun fact for everybody, he's the reason why the Nazi melts and walks dark.
Oh, is he?
He's the guy who did that.
Oh yeah, because they melted Stripe, so they were working on the same time.
No, no. Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raiders came
Raiders.
before this.
First one.
Oh,
so they're
before.
like, I can do that again. Let's do that again.
That's pretty cool.
Let's do that again. Chris Wallace continued to go on to work on E.T., Dragon Slayer, Return of the Jedi. So
Dragon Slayer.
Yeah, Dragon Slayer. We will get to Dragon Slayer.
Wait, Dragon Slayer.
We will get to Dragon
Is that
Slayer.
the one with
81.
Yeah, but is that the one with I'm Sean Connery.
You're thinking Dragonheart.
I'm thinking Dragon Slayer.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Also very good. Return of the Jedi, Gremlins, Enemy Mine, also very, very good. Two aliens crash land on a planet. One of them is a human. One of them is another different kind of humanoid like alien species, and they need to work together to survive and get off the fucking planet. And the planet's super hostile. It's really, really good. The Fly. And
The Fly.
Oh, yeah, the David Cronenberg
Yeah.
Fly with Jeff Goldblum. So he went on to do a bunch of special effects movies.
I'll be clear. I've never seen The Fly, but I know a lot about the animatronics and stuff.
So I want to do at some point Cronenberg.
Oh.
Not all of it, but some of Cronenberg.
I actually want to because I've never seen The Thing. I've never seen The Fly.
Okay.
This is why this podcast. Okay, this is
Cronenberg-
why we do this podcast.
Cronenberg itself was Videodrome, The Fly, some other films.
Yeah.
Scanners was really good. Carpenter is The Thing.
So yeah, but The Thing isn't considered like a Cronenberg-esque. I always thought The Thing was a Cronenberg-esque.
It's a battle between who done it first kind of
Got
thing.
it. Okay.
But also
I
that,
kind of just
like,
lump them all because they're monstrous. It's what is it? Physical horror.
different directors, same creature people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like how Evil Dead had the right sauce of people
Yeah.
to go on to make all of these films.
That makes sense.
Right? Raimi had like, hey, we have no money and let's try to do it. And then we got American Werewolf and these other fucking amazing films. Gizmo's voice, Howie Mandel.
No.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised too.
Comedian Howie Mandel provided the voice of Gizmo.
Yep.
First of all, it doesn't matter.
No.
Like anyone could have done it, but still, that's how old? Like I guess Howie
He
Mandel
would have been
probably in his
young.
30s.
Young.
Probably in his
young.
30s, 30s, probably in his 30s.
I think he would-
20 somethings.
Really?
Yeah, because he had like the whole TV show and the stand up stuff, and he had his hair still back in the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Before we get into the rest of it, because you'll want to know who plays Stripe. Oh my God, we got a gremlin. Aren't they amazing? We're going to want one. Every kid's going to want one of these fucking things.
What a lunatic.
What a, dad completely missed the message.
Not first of all,
Well-
he never learns through this entire movie.
Right.
There is not a single character in this movie
That learns.
that changes.
Right.
Not a single one.
No.
But that dad pissed me off the most because
He's completely checked out.
he's just such an idiot, and it's almost okay. I was discussing like villainy because I'm a DM, right? So
Right,
I
yeah,
discussed the concept of villainy and evil,
Neighbors.
and good and neighbors
That are supportive.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a level of evil that's called evil through incompetency.
Right.
And to me, that father is evil through incompetency because he is so dumb that he's so selfish that he's putting his family through misery.
Right.
And I hate that he doesn't get his comeuppance.
Yeah, but his wife is trying to support him.
His wife's lovely.
His wife is lovely. We don't get enough of
The kids are lovely because they're trying to support his stupid things that
well,
never
that's all
work.
they know, right?
No, that's not all they know because you
That's
can
all they
tell
know.
whenever they use one of his mechanisms, they're like, I know what this is about to do. I know this is going to go bad in some way and I don't know what way. And so they know, hey, I could just have a toaster.
Right, but like to be fair, we get, and I'm going to run through the inventions real quick.
Oh, I love these.
We get fly swatter.
I love that one.
We get electric hammer.
Yeah.
We get
It was a pneumatic hammer.
pneumatic hammer. I apologize.
The mixer,
The mixer,
the juicer,
the
the
juicer,
coffee maker.
the Keurig. I'm sorry, the coffee maker.
The
we get
Bluetooth handset, the wireless
the
handset.
fucking cell phone.
Yeah.
yeah.
It wasn't a cell phone because it connected to the...
Right.
So it was more like one of the hot wireless handsets.
Also,
Right.
microwave worked.
Well, it was just a microwave.
That was just microwave.
That was his microwave.
No, it wasn't. It was just microwave.
It just looked like a regular
It was just
microwave.
a regular microwave.
Pretty sure it's his microwave.
I might have his. We'll have to double check the tape. But,
Yeah. Cleave judges.
90%. Can we get it rolling? Go get your wife. No.
Whose microwave?
Who was what? I don't know. Movie fucking watch. 90% of his stuff was there. The smokeless ashtray, I'm pretty sure, is a thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we're there. It's just not right.
Yeah.
And it almost he needed he. It felt more like he was working more on the sales pitch,
Yeah. Than on the invention.
selling the dream, than actually making the invention.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had that line down, because that's all he did. He was traveling carpet salesman or traveling vacuum salesman kind of thing. And he said, fuck, this is easy. I can do it. And then wanted to create something. And then that just falls apart and blows up in his face repeatedly, or his kid's face. But also, that is the first step of like that Monday morning or the Tuesday morning when Billy wakes up and he's got the mogwai and this is amazing. And now I have this little bear and I'm supposed to be a grown man dating women, but I have this little bear. Amazing. Dad clearly fucking thinks that I'm a child still.
Yep.
And there's a lot of neglect and a lot of overlooking
Yep.
issues there. Gremlins. You're biting your lip there. You weren't even thinking of that.
No.
But-
Because the whole time, like, he's coming back from a trip
Yeah. Again.
to get his kid trying to sell his inventions, bought Gizmo, came back home for a few days. Within a week, he's gone again at
Yeah.
another invention.
Yeah.
Convention.
With an old bowling bag.
Yeah.
Full of shit. Not a
Yeah.
fucking suitcase, a bowling bag.
Yeah.
An old, worn out bowling bag.
Yeah, no, there's
Yee.
definitely a huge amount of problems there. And I think one of the key points was a little bit of water and this thing literally multiplies.
Right.
And it's destroying my house right now. His first thought isn't if this thing, if it even rains for a day, this world is doomed.
Right.
Oh my god!
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The implications of it. You're absolutely right.
Like, mind you, I get it. He probably, at the time, he wasn't thinking, well, sunlight's not a big deal. And
I'm going to make $1 million. If I
Wait.
sell them all for $1, and I'll make $1 million.
Yeah, that's where his brain is. He's got this ADHD brain of, I can't finish an invention. I can only create some half-assed solution.
Well, that's why he's seen them multiply, and he's like, "Oh, this is a good business opportunity. Holy shit!"
Yeah, I hated that father. I'm sorry.
Fun fact about the actor:
He's a villain.
he's a villain.
Gremlins.
Hoyt
full of
accent.
villains.
He's a country singer.
Is he?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
He actually wrote "Joy to the World." Like
What?
the joy to the world.
The
Like
Christmas
he
song?
wrote that.
No.
Yeah.
He was an actor and composer known for Gremlins, Forrest Gump,
Yeah.
and The Big Chill.
He died in
The
1999.
Big Chill is good.
Yeah, he died in on your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he wrote "Joy to the World," like the Christmas song.
No.
Yeah, so a lot of his lines were not improvised, but they gave him the line, but told him, "Okay, but say it like you would, like say it like your character," and yep,
Wow.
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
it's true. Holy shit.
I remember, you know what? I don't want to cut you off. I'm so sorry. But I remember seeing him. He looks so familiar.
He just
not
looks
as
like generic Johnny Cash.
but like on like 70s variety shows.
Maybe.
yeah, he's a big
So like
deal.
70s variety shows would have just like you had like your Jimmy Kimmel and stuff.
Yeah.
They'd have multiple people on, multiple actors and stuff, and then like all of a sudden one guy would pick up a guitar and be like, "Okay, we're having a musical number." All of a sudden, it would hard cut. People would come out and start dancing, and that would be that
Still,
joy to the world moment.
That's a wild fact, man. Like,
Yeah,
You just took me completely by shock on that one.
Gremlins better than anything.
But
Did not expect it.
I forget the actor's name, but Billy, he's like, he'd be sitting there and he'd be doing his lines like, hey, here are the 3 rules. Just say them as a character would. And he was just, Zach was just watching him being in awe because he was so natural. Like, he's not like an actor. Like, I think this was one of his first acting roles. He just had that.
The father
type
was
of
one of the best
persona.
actors. I would
And
say.
Come
he's
in and
not an
talk.
actor.
Act like a dad. Okay,
Yeah,
that's easy.
act like a dad. This is what your character would say. So a lot of what he did was either improvised or just made up, in, like as he would say it.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Wild.
Beautiful.
but he was the most like laid back of everybody.
Oh yeah.
Because he wasn't acting.
But he honestly, I think he gave one of the best performances as a character.
The mom did.
The mom was a badass.
The mom was badass.
She was a
The mom
badass.
fucking.
I
They
knew
throw,
she was
They throw that woman down a flight of stairs and then into a Christmas tree.
yeah. I knew she was a badass when the one gremlin was getting into the blender, and her immediate thought was, "I'm just gonna turn that thing on," and then I was like, "Okay, she's a badass. She's willing to like brutally kill something."
Yeah.
And then it cuts like after a little bit of suspense and some fighting, she just straight up murder, death, kills one with a knife.
Murder, murder, murder.
She kills 3. Yeah, she kills 3 in
She
the
kills
kitchen.
3 of them, yeah. And
Yeah.
the other one where she just puts it in the microwave, just
Sprays it with
explodes
rain,
in the.
sticks it in the microwave.
She
It wasn't
she
rain.
sprays
I thought it was
Pam.
Pam. Yeah, Pam.
No, it was
Cooking.
insect
No,
killer.
it was Pam.
was
insect
Pam.
killer.
No, it was Pam.
Can we get a judge's ruling on
Can we
this
get a
one?
judge's ruling on this one?
It was Pam because she's making cookies.
I think we wink 'cause it was Pam and she.
All
'cause
right,
she was making
that's
cookies.
fine. So what I want to do real quick before we get into the murder, death, kill, splat by splat, splat by splat, they fuck with the clock.
Yeah.
Billy falls asleep. He has a bunch of gremlins now. Corey Feldman shows up and then takes off. He's not in the rest of the movie. It's fine. But Corey Feldman.
Pete?
Whatever. Pete, wow, that's a gremlin. I don't really care. I'm going to read your comic books.
Wow, I just saw literal
That was
physics.
real weird.
The breaking of physics.
Yeah, real
I'm
weird
gonna go
scene.
read about Superman over here.
Cool, weird, bubbly. Don't like it. Don't like it.
Okay, that scene. Sorry, I have to mention the scene where they show the clock was probably, in a non-joking way, one of the best scenes because it kind of threw me off, but then had an aha moment because they showed Billy and they showed
Gizmo yawning and shit.
Gizmo yawning. It was like 11:40 or
Right.
something like that, or 11:30, and then they cut to Mr. Scientist teacher.
Yep.
And they show his clock at 2 or 3 a.m. or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
2:30 or 3 a.m. And he walks away, and you're thinking, oh, he's giving the food to him. Oh, no, it's after. And they kind of show the clock. And they go, oh, no, he's getting the food because he stole the food.
We're seeing the scenes out of order. Something's got to
And
be
you're like,
fine.
okay. And then they jump back to Billy
Yep.
when he's getting, he looks, and if the clock is still showing 11, you're like, oh, so is the timing out of, no, the clock hasn't moved.
Because you don't
Billy.
know that they're bad yet.
Shit.
Billy's just sitting in bed petting Gizmo, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's at that moment where, like, I had a moment of,
Don't shake your head.
Well, no, they were watching old movies.
Yeah,
They're
he's,
watching
just,
movies.
he's just sitting in bed petting his Gizmo.
Yeah. I just thought it was weird. I just thought it was well filmed. That my first thought was, did they edit this wrong and weird?
Right.
And then it was a moment of, oh no,
they fucked
this
up.
is the moment. This is where they feed them after midnight.
Who's in
he just
control?
doesn't
Here
know.
it goes.
Oh, and so I kind of enjoyed that that mental journey that I had during those few scenes.
Yeah.
Like I said, that was probably one of the only scenes where I went, that was cleverly done. That wasn't just a joke. It wasn't done as a joke. It was a serious moment.
Right.
Well, I just enjoyed it.
The feeding after midnight makes no sense, is what I wanted to say.
No, it doesn't.
None of that makes any
And
sense. What
technically-
time zone are we in?
Every time is after midnight.
Every time
Depending
is
on
after
the
midnight.
They make fun of it hard in the second one because they do that exact line. They
Do
bring
they?
up time zones.
I'm trying to figure out who in the
Oh,
writers' room
yeah.
came up with this.
Dude, we got to watch Gremlins too because all
It's
of the
unhinged.
all of the problems that we're talking about are they're like, well, yeah, that's stupid. And then they look at the camera and you're like, oh no, it's only gonna get worse.
I almost feel like I will enjoy Gremlins 2 more
because it is
because it's making fun of like everything
1.
that is bad about this.
There was a small town and an incident. No, there wasn't. It was fine. We paid those people.
I'm excited for that movie. I'll be honest.
Fucking right. It's great. All right. So they get fed after midnight, and Billy wakes up. And then we get the alien scene all the fucking sudden.
The metamorphosis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, he woke up.
And there's just the eggs on the floor.
Yeah.
It's Giger-esque fucking,
Giger-esque.
the Giger-esque, like, sacks. And it's awful. It's awful. And then what does he do? Mom, something happened. And she's like, okay, go to work. I'm going to deal with it. What do you mean?
And
Well,
she
no.
doesn't. She just keeps cooking.
He goes back to the science teacher to be like, what the hell?
No,
Oh,
yes,
he goes?
because the science
Yeah.
teacher's cutting him out of the cage, the bird cage.
Right.
Yeah.
So we get the blood test, never gets paid off, no big deal. Doctor scientist never makes it out. But I think that's the shift. As soon as we get the alien eggs, the tone of the movie completely changes. The music changes. The Christmas music stops, record off needle. And then the synth comes
technically
in.
it starts because the mother is sitting upstairs and notices all the eggs are hatched.
Yeah.
And then suddenly a Christmas song comes on and she's just sitting there going,
What the fuck?
the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, pacing wise, is the movie like we get into the horror aspect of the film or suspense wise,
Yeah.
and it just slows down
Yeah.
because it's already like, okay, where are we going? Billy's got a sock puppet. Billy's sitting in bed petting his gremlin. Like, what is happening with this movie? So, as soon as those like Giger aliens happen, it's like, oh fuck, everything. And then you like you said yourself, rain. Thank God it's winter.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Which doesn't
Yeah.
make much sense because what defines water? Well, snow. As soon as they go outside, they'll technically start multiplying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. The
Because they'll
rules
touch
are
them,
weird.
it'll melt onto them. Now that's water, and boom, done. Now it's just multiply.
Yeah.
And clearly they're
beer,
multiple
the food, right?
The beer, the food. Clearly they're
Right.
they're multiplying, causes heat, right? Because it bubbled up the water,
Right.
So they would multiply, hit snow, bubble up the snow, turn into water, multiply again.
Yeah, especially the bar scene now, because they were throwing beer at each other.
Well, on top of that too, right? Like we go from the chaos in the kitchen,
Yeah, because
the attack at the Christmas tree.
Because the dad said, "Don't give him water to drink," and they're drinking beer.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine.
Maybe it's just the alpha.
That's fine.
They said don't get him
gremlin.
near don't give him water, and definitely don't give him a bath.
Right. You can't do that.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So
make
Gizmo
sense.
is stinky.
Yeah.
Ew. Ew. From there, Spike fucking takes off, screaming at Billy. Frank Weller as Spike.
RoboCop?
No, you're Peter Weller's.
Peter Weller. I'm thinking Peter Weller. Who's
Weller?
Frank
Welker.
Weller? Welker, something.
Welker.
Okay, who's Frank Weller then?
Optimus Megatron,
Oh,
Transformers.
Oh, I mentioned that. Yeah, because
Yeah. He played Megatron Soundwave.
Frank. Why? The old one.
Yeah. Like the guy who did.
The old.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry the show came to a grinding
Wow.
halt.
Yeah, you caused a grinding halt on this one.
Yeah.
What? Who?
Welker.
Like I know the voice, the very raspy. Like I know the voice,
Yeah. That's
but he's important for some reason. I know the guy who does Optimus is important. Yeah, I guess he does Galvatron, Soundwave. Yeah, okay. All right. No, I didn't. Okay, sure. I never really considered him all that super important. He does a lot
Hold
of...
up for a second. Adam doesn't consider a villain important. Sir, you just fucking ended your argument.
I'm just looking through his
Well,
names
I only
right
know
now.
Optimus Prime. You don't know Megatron? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. You're on a movie show.
I don't know.
also it would have been huge because '80s is when Transformers like really blew up as a cartoon.
Oh my
Peter
god.
Cullen also voiced Gremlin. So they had both of them.
He
Yeah,
does.
that's
They
it.
had all
In
of
the
them.
bar, they were
Yeah,
drinking
Bob
together.
Holt, fucking
Yeah.
Sonny.
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So
Jim Cunnings, like
you're hitting the
everybody-
wrong. You're hitting the wrong target.
Fred
So
Newman.
He does
Yeah.
Abu, Raja, the Cave of Wonders, all in Aladdin. He does Reptile and Shao Kahn in the Mortal Kombat movie. He does the Martians and Mars Attacks.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got Megatron was too low of a fucking pop culture reference for you to
But
pick up.
yeah, it
my
all
guy.
connects together. He does. He's in the English. He does Totoro.
So he's
in
the
My Neighbor
bad guy
Totoro.
in Gremlins.
Wow. Holy
What?
crap.
Yeah, what a legacy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, you mean like one character is like that's cool, but he's a whack stack.
He's all of the characters.
He's a bunch of them.
He's all of the
He does a lot of
characters.
creature voices, it looks like.
Sure,
Which
they're
makes
fun.
sense.
Yeah.
They're raspy. They're
Yeah.
like his voice.
Because the gremlins can talk.
Yeah. They're like, delicious. Or
Yum, yum.
yum, yum.
Beautiful. I
He
love
knew
that.
Gizmo's name.
Can I get
by
one
then.
more? One more gremlin line.
Water.
There we go. Yeah.
Gizmo was calling the dog Woof Woof.
Yeah, that's true.
That was
fair.
his name.
Yeah, that's true.
That was mushroom.
So
Mushroom, sorry.
yeah, so Spike
Spike goes to the pool. Spike goes for a spoon. Mega Spike
Mega
goes for
Spike.
the pool and then multiplies a bazillion of them.
Yeah. Just honestly, I loved that
That
scene.
was the aha
the
moment.
water boiling. I'm like, that's a really cool effect. I'm cool with that. I like that.
How does that man know there's a pool in that house?
I don't
you
think he
called
did.
it because you said you seen it was a YMCA, and you're like, "Oh, he's going for a swim." And I look at you, I'm like, "How do you know?"
Well, because YMCA's are sort of famous
Yeah.
And
for having their pools.
The song.
Well, yeah, you're right.
I don't need a copyright, Adam. Don't sing it.
DMCA takedown.
Yep. Beautiful.
But no,
They all go to war.
They all go to war.
They all go to war.
Yeah.
They have the Gremlin War.
It was
1984.
I don't view the Gremlins as having a plan. They're kind of like that Joker, like, do I look like a gremlin with a plan? They just feel like they're chaotic evil.
Right. Food, booze.
Oh, they're there to mess everything up.
Yeah.
We get to our bar scene.
Yes.
Where they're just imitating people.
And
The
then
best
they
scene.
fucking kill everybody in the town pretty much. They wrap through their neighborhood and they run through. They kill the guy who pretty much did nothing wrong with his wife with the snowplow.
Yeah.
But we'll gloss over that because I don't want to go back and argue about that anymore.
They kill a dude dressed as Santa.
They eat him.
I love
They
that-
eat
they
him.
eat
The
him.
cops are like, get back. We're
The
done.
cops is like, roll up the window. This is a bad part of
No.
neighborhood.
Frank from Better Call Saul, apparently, or Breaking Bad. He also is in Buckaroo Banzai.
He's the cop.
Oh, is that the guy? Is that who that was?
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
you said that. You mentioned it while we were watching.
All
I'm
of
like,
it's
I don't
connected.
get it. I didn't
So
notice
he
it
was
him.
supposed to go alone to investigate the YMCA, and in the original script, he was just going to be torn apart.
Oh, wow.
The original script was originally because Chris Columbus wrote it as kind of a practice because this was only his second screenplay,
Right.
and he's like he shopped it to everybody as an R rated. In the original, the mom was supposed to be decapitated, and her head was going to roll down the stairs.
Oh, my God.
That was the homage of Spike eating the heads off the cookies. They were supposed to eat the dog.
I could see them eating the dog.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fucked up, but I could see them
Even
eating the dog.
though it was a Burger King in town, the original script had them going into a McDonald's full of people, eating all the people and leaving the food. So it was originally an R, like a hard R rating.
That would have been really funny.
And it was like months later that Steven Spielberg called and he thought it was someone faking being Steven Spielberg. And he's the one, I think he rewrote it like 9 or 10 times, like Christopher Columbus, to get it down to kind of a family movie.
Something, because Steven Spielberg knew you're not going to sell
Yeah,
this.
so
You need to
he-
bring it
both
down.
of
Hi,
them
this is Steven
and
Spielberg. I
John-
just made AT and
Yeah.
Jaws.
They all
And you're going to
kinda
listen to what I
help.
say.
You're gonna listen
Yeah,
to what I
they all
fucking
kind of
say.
helped each other kind of get it to where it was, where it still was gory and like that's why the PG-13 came around. Yeah, because it wasn't quite, it was still tame enough for kids to watch.
Yeah.
But not knowing anything about it,
Ghostbusters 2
That's why-
PG-13?
I don't know. It wasn't out yet.
No, but
Oh, probably yeah,
did it become one though? So.
yeah. But yeah, it was a lot more gory.
Got it.
So a lot of the characters were supposed to die more, like I guess horrifically on screen. 'Cause
That's
there was a lot
fair.
of off-screen deaths.
Yeah, there was a lot of off-screen. There's a lot of assumptions made with the
Yeah.
deaths of characters and things like that. Like they had Mrs. Dreary?
Deagle.
Fuck, I can't remember what's the character's name. Deagle. I absolutely adore how she died.
I wanted to call Kate Jess all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Looks like a
Christmas
Jess.
carolers luring her outside.
Oh, that
my
was funny.
God.
Out
The
of
havoc.
pure hatred.
So I wanna
pure hatred led her outside.
Let her outside. So I want to talk about, because we're not going to go through the entirety of the carnage, but what was, because I do want to end with the confrontation near the end.
Okay.
And the department store.
Yeah.
Right? We will not touch the movie theater.
Okay.
From the movie theater back,
Okay.
where the innocent man was killed with the snowplow, what is best kill?
Sorry,
Or even
I
further
interrupted
back.
your bar scene.
Oh,
Yeah, bar scene. Shit. Sorry.
it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I went on a tangent.
so
sorry.
my favorite scene of the entire movie.
Right.
That, and I think I blurted out.
There's a lot
laughing.
of good stuff.
There's a lot
here.
of good scenes, but
Yeah.
there's, I find that they're good snippets. They're
Yeah.
not. It's not a good movie. There's good snippets.
Oh, you're out of your mind.
And the one scene that I really liked, and I think it was the only one where I just died. I immediately laughed out loud in front of you. I'm like, oh my god!
It goes full cartoon.
It goes full cartoon when they're in the bar and they change the music to like dark. I love film noir.
Yep.
I fucking love film noir. I think I rated
Let's
Dark
do some-
City as one of my favorite movies that we've seen so far.
Let's do some film noir.
Oh yeah, and they changed the music to like a dark film noir, like doo 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 kind of thing, and then and it's this guy just sitting there at a bar, and it's dark and light, one light coming on, a gremlin with a fucking like fedora,
Yeah.
just going, and you could just
Sinatra fedora.
the Sinatra fedora.
None of them are smoking. 'Cause
No,
they're afraid
of the
fire,
light.
right,
But they
the
have a
light, but
cigarette
they
in
all
their
have the
light.
cigarettes, right.
And he's just sitting there and he's got a drink in front of him. And it's just him. It's just this dark music. He's just panning closer. You could just imagine like in my brain, I imagine like a gremlin version of there was a dame here. It was a night like any other night. And it's just zooming in.
Beautifully done,
And then
beautifully done.
suddenly like this puppet hand came
Yeah.
out and it kind of acted as that dame like, oh, Mr. I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect. This is such a joke on one of my favorite
Well,
genres.
the puppet ones come up. Not the puppet hand, the actual puppets with
The
the
actual
little
puppets.
lobster and the
Yeah.
thing and starts making fun of them.
Starts making fun of him for being serious and
Yeah.
shit. I
So
died at that
stoic.
scene. I loved that scene. That was great. Wasn't the
The
best
whole
kill.
bar fucking scene is great though, man.
The
When he
whole thing.
grabs the gun out and the girlfriend, who is just another like, they're all sexless,
Yeah.
right? Until the second one, but
No, there's one that's a female and that has lipstick and a wig on. Next to the guy with the gun on the, in the
Yeah.
poker table.
Spike shoots.
Yeah,
him.
Spike shoots him, yeah.
Yeah, you're cheating at cards, bang, and you're like, oh my god, this is just Looney Tunes, but like
What a
old
great
Looney
scene.
Tunes.
This is great. That was
It
great.
was,
It
just-
was
and
very
then poor Kate is just trying to
Pour beer fast
Yeah.
fast enough
So
so
they
they
don't
don't
kill
start
him.
attacking her.
Yes.
And because you can tell they all just kind of stormed in there, and
Yeah.
it was like, wow, this looks fun.
Yes.
Also, the person that like the music that came on like for the flash dance sequence.
Yeah, the
Oh
flash. I
yeah,
forgot about
well
that
yeah,
scene.
because it's just pop culture reference after pop culture.
It was
reference,
actually they
right?
got the person who wrote Flashdance to come like, to do
Do
it.
it, yeah, amazing.
So the music was done by the same person that did Flashdance.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
No, that was a great one. They went from like one scene then to flash dance, and I'm like, it's just chaotic energy
Yeah,
of
it is.
great little cutscenes.
I'm just
During that.
imagining them setting up these because that's like the old like as I said the only stop motion part of this movie is them walking down the street.
Yeah.
Even him in the blender, that's all.
There was a
animatronic.
moment of stop motion with one of the gremlins and the mother in the kitchen.
No,
That's a puppet,
that was puppet. The only stop motion. I know it looked funny.
Can we get a ruling?
dude. She has done 3 days worth of research. I will let her have whatever she wants on this one.
But I could just imagine them like to do the spinning that they I'm just imagining like some poor puppeteer with like a drill underneath, and just like
Oh yeah.
Oh,
well,
for
you could
sure.
see the tile.
yeah,
Because
they
it
were
was a cutout as it spun. It was a 1-bar arm.
Yeah.
They did
An
a
L
lot,
bracket,
but
yeah.
it was at least 10 people on each. Like either
Jesus.
doing like different like the finger mechanics or joysticks.
Face or arms. Yeah.
yeah, there was a
That's-
lot that went in. They broke down constantly.
Oh yeah. Man, favorite kill.
Favorite kill?
Not the end of the movie.
No,
Not
no,
like
no.
we're gonna talk about the
I
end of
don't
the
know,
movie in a minute.
Stairmaster's pretty
Fucking, you laughed so
iconic.
hard.
that was great.
Because I can't, yeah, because the other ones didn't really show, or actually, the one that would have been more gruesome is the scientist teacher.
Oh, yeah.
They paid homage to it by having the needle in his butt. Originally, he was going to have like 100 in his face.
Oh, that
But
would have been
obviously, they weren't going to do that.
Yeah,
So
the
they
needle in the butt
rewrote it
works.
as one in his butt. And he just implied that he got like eaten.
cool. That makes sense.
But that would have been
The needle in the butt.
Neat.
needle in the butt, yeah. But I would say that the Stairmaster, Miss Deagle, kind of. I'm surprised because she said she had a weak heart. You think she would have had a heart attack?
I think she was lying
I
about
think
it.
it's
On
all
the
bullshit.
way.
I think it's all
Yeah.
bullshit.
Now, I think the funniest part about her death was when it. So obviously, it goes up the Stairmaster and she gets chucked out the window. But that's not the funniest part. The funniest part is whatever like ragdoll that they got to get launched through the window hits the tree and comes out the window and hits the tree and like falls.
And then the cops are like, "Oh my god, that was Miss Deagle.
Well, she's like the richest woman in town.
She owns the town."
So hold up though, because it's like her house is a fucking shambles. Her husband passed. She got a bunch of cats. Like
she talks a big game.
She talks a huge game. Lonely woman, miserable woman. Candlesticks, the candelabra, all of the stuff on the table is just knocked over because the cats have broken every glass in that house. And I won't lie to you, they've spilled every ounce of water.
Yeah,
but like,
they're just waiting for her to die.
You kind of feel sad. You know what I mean? There's so much.
Yep.
But she's such a wicked woman.
She is a wicked woman.
Not as bad as a neighbor, but you know.
But they all live in the same neighborhood.
Yeah. You know what? It's so funny because I don't want to reference another movie we watched over Halloween, which is Elvira, Mistress of Darkness. Because the whole crux of Elvira is in Mistress of Darkness, and this isn't going to spoil anything, but it just kind of gives a little bit of the plot. Is her car breaks down in like this very small town, and she's there to pick up her inheritance.
Oh.
And it's Elvira. So.
Just like the outfit and everything.
Hold on. So the character
Elvira
is the one that they meet there, or that's the one that shows up that's looking for the money?
Her great aunt died and left inheritance to her.
Got it.
Right.
So she shows up in the middle of nowhere,
she gets fired
all American town.
Right. So she gets fired from her TV horror movie hosting station.
Got it.
Because the owner of the television studio wants to sleep with her, and she says, "Fuck off." So she gets fired.
Yeah, we gotta watch this movie at some
it's
point.
Really good. It's not
good.
It's not. It's good in the. It leans into the schlock.
Yeah.
Like it knows what it is.
Got it.
But the whole crux is she's there to pick up her inheritance, and the whole fucking town hates her. And then it's pretty much how can we give this chick a hard time so she has to leave?
Yeah.
And then it's Elvira. It's great. Felt the same sort of anti-hero bullshit with Mrs. Steagle, where it's just like the whole town kind of hates her and can't wait for her to die.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh no, Mrs. Steagle died, but also it was like a sigh of relief as soon as she goes jettisoning through the window, right? My favorite kill I want to say the kitchen scene is notorious. It's awful. It's like any horror movie where someone goes to stick their hand in the garbage disposal thing.
Yeah.
Like that's what I was kind of waiting for. But also I think the garbage disposal was a little later, like Lost Boys era, a couple of years later.
Yeah.
I also don't understand why they wouldn't have a garbage disposal or some
I
sort of
think-
like the fact that she used one, maybe two of the inventions, and the fact like the garbage disposal wasn't one of them would have been fantastic. I would have liked to see Mom actually use the inventions that Dad had made
for
the
the
way they were
microwave.
intended.
Yeah, successfully.
And all of a sudden it's like, oh fuck, she knows she's patient and he's not.
Yeah.
And it just works. And she just fucking kills them with the nail gun and kills them with the next thing and kills them with the next invention. And then all of the inventions break.
It
and
turns
then we
into
have to get rid of them.
Terminator at that point.
Well, it does turn into Terminator, but God bless her, she's so good. Santa Claus getting just murdered is so horrifying. Is so horrifying, especially when you see the police officers, like all the cops, the sheriff's face, as they're like, roll up the fucking window right now. We got to get out of here. We gotta get out of here. We know the brake lines are cut. And it's awful. And no one's pulling out guns and shooting them. Like, no one goes full Tremors.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the town doesn't bound together to take out this problem. They all just fucking run and scatter.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because, like, it's such anti-small town vibe and such... There is something different and weird, and we don't know how to deal with it. So let's not help each other. Let's just dissipate.
Yeah, but at the level of chaos that happened, because everyone got attacked in their own home.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a level of
somebody would have got out, is what I'm trying to say.
Somebody would have got out, but they would have gotten immediately taken over. Everyone is fighting their own micro battle because they never got the opportunity. By the time they got out of the house, they were either run over by a bulldozer or eaten as Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So the only person who got out was Billy.
Yeah.
And the two cops. The only two police officers in this entire city.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I mentioned
it's small town vibes.
Or
It's like
town.
Royal Oak. It's tiny.
Yeah, when the cop car flipped, you could see the ramp on the bottom
well,
of the car.
you can't hide some of that shit, right? It looks good,
It was one of the most obvious I've ever seen, though.
Have you seen American Graffiti?
No.
It's real fucking obvious in American
Is it?
Graffiti.
I should watch it because, George Lucas and all that fun
It's
jazz.
good.
It's
good.
This
It's
is what I
good.
mean. There's so many movies I know about, and I understand their technical importance, but I've just never seen them.
Oh, they're fun.
It's just wild.
All right. So, does Gremlins hold up?
I think so.
Yeah?
Sorry, I thought you were going to say, here we go into the third act.
I'm gonna get to the third act.
Okay. You're mixing it up.
I'm having fun with it. It's Christmas.
I think it definitely holds up.
Yeah.
There's nothing in this movie that's too offensive that doesn't hold up in today's world.
Adam.
For being an 80s movie, that's shocking.
Yeah. I think it holds up in the sense that I think it's probably just as good of a movie today as it was in the 80s.
Yeah, I think the effects hold up. I think it looks stellar.
Because
I think
it was
the plot is
practical.
pretty clean.
I don't know if I agree with that part, but
I think the plot's pretty clean. There's a problem. They have to deal with them, and
It
then
did
they
the
fucking
MacGuffin, the sword.
you had
That
Yeah.
paid off
That did
early.
pay off.
sword
I love
MacGuffin
that.
and Chekhov's cat. Man, what do you want?
It paid off really early.
I don't think that it was I don't think it holds up because it was, it's a good movie then, it's a good movie now. I think the jokes they make are just as good today as they were yesterday.
Laughed. Yeah,
we laughed.
We laughed.
But I think the idea of the concept of does it hold up was, did it maintain its value?
Yeah.
I think it's maintained its value, but that value was just low.
Oh, I thought it only got better. I thought it was spooky. I think it's fun. I think it gets the point necessarily across of these little bastards are everywhere and somehow we have to deal with them. And how does the town deal with like the zombie plague or Muppets overturning everything?
Yeah.
And I think that's a fun crux of a PG-13 horror movie that's not necessarily aimed at adults, but 11, 12, 13-year-olds.
Yeah.
Not like adults, because it's clearly not an adult film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Right.
I disagree, but I understand.
It's okay. I think some fucking wild statements coming out of you tonight.
I can see where people watch this and then wrote Critters.
100%.
Because Critters is if this had the R rating.
Yeah.
And a way less budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Critters
And
from
made
space.
3 or 4 of them.
They made like 8 Critters or
Yeah.
something like that. Leonardo's in Critters 4?
He
3?
was his first film.
Yeah.
Was
Oh, shit.
Critters 1.
No, 2 or 3. He's not in the first one.
There's
He's in the
more
second.
than one.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like 8 critters. in them.
There's
They come from space. There's an apartment.
There's the woods apartment in space.
Holy shit.
Yeah, they made a bunch of critters.
Scared
Okay.
the shit out of me as a kid. This didn't scare me. Critters scared the hell out of me.
Then there was Chud. Remember the one that come out of the toilet?
No.
The sewers? Chud.
Never watched it.
Yeah, they're like, it's like Gremlins, but they're monsters that bite your nuts.
Never watched Critters.
Awful. Well, Critters we'll get to at some point on Raised by Spoilers.
You notice there's like a history of like a lot of horror movies I never really touched.
We're going to get into some of them. We're not going to do a lot, but
Yeah, yeah.
because there's such a variety of schlock and fun,
Oh yeah.
like point and laugh because it's a cheap
Oh,
junk food
got to.
movie, I feel like there is a reason why there is such a cult following for most of horror movies.
Oh,
kinda
for
thing.
sure. Yep.
Especially like Toxic Avenger and shit.
And
'Cause-
horror is one of those things where it's not as popular as everything else. So it's like when you find one good, it tends to really stick with the people who do like it.
Yeah.
And that's the very definition of a cult movie. And so that's why I find there are more horror movies that have cult status
Yes.
than any other kind of movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And so it totally fits.
Oh, they also get made a lot more too, right? It's easier to make a horror movie on a shoestring budget than
That
it
is
is
true.
to do a giant sci-fi epic,
That's true too.
right? Unless you're Zack Snyder. Ladies and gentlemen, we track down our Gremlins. No, copyright pending. Mogwai to the movie theater. They are watching Snow White. Hell.
Doesn't make any sense to me because they don't like bright lights, but they go to a theater, which is just one big bright light.
They're loving it.
Yeah, but it has food.
That's true. Still doesn't make much sense.
I don't know. I think
Also, why are they showing Snow White? That's like from the 40s, 30s?
30s, but think about 80s.
and they had recolored it and they had reproduced it, and Disney did that thing where it was coming out of the vault and they would re-air these movies. Like, it was a big deal.
Was it?
It was a big fucking deal.
All right.
These weren't like, for a long time, some of the stuff wasn't on VHS.
Also,
Oh,
when
for
were
sure.
VHS
So, like,
invented?
them being
80s.
So there you go. It might not have been.
But them re-showing old movies that Disney would put out in color or cleaned up or whatever was still a big deal.
It got popular in the 80s.
Yeah, not everybody had one. It was Laserdisc and it was other stuff. Or
it was invented before the 80s, but it got famous in the 80s.
So
it won the war in late 80s.
Also, it's funny that Disney allowed one of their movies to be associated with this type of movie.
That's Steven Spielberg for you, baby. That is the power of Spielberg.
Spielberg is wild as a force in the movie industry.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Snow White made sense, just like how they would reshow Lion King.
Sure. I was there. Okay. All right. Here's an important question. Was there significance, story or character wise, why it was Snow White, or was it just that's the one they got the budget?
I don't know if there was. They might have just like the hi ho.
I think
like
it was
what's an easy song to sing?
Okay.
Maybe I don't know. I didn't really look into
something kids can recognize.
Yeah.
Something that parents can recognize.
Yeah.
Something that we can afford, that we can get.
Oh, because it is so old.
Yeah. See, I'm sorry, but it's still Disney. See, the thing is this is what I'm talking about. This movie is it's not actually a good movie.
Sure.
A good movie would have used this moment to connect the Gremlins to you through a movie.
Sure.
And maybe they're trying to do that with the grumpy, sleepy, whatever, and giving them each things. But it's very base if they are trying to do that. And none of us can really identify that they're trying to. So it's not that obvious.
Right.
So that's my point is this is just another evidence of not only do they break the in-world rules if they don't like light.
Right.
But they also don't really have a character moment here as well. So it doesn't really make much sense to me.
Yeah,
I think it's funny.
It also shows
funny.
It is funny. It is funny. It does play for like the Muppets joke kind of thing. I feel like it's the same argument though of like, oh, you taught Gizmo to watch TV.
Yeah.
Like that's bright. You're staring at light.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's true.
That's gets used to it, I guess. I mean, it could be a conditioning thing.
So they're saying that it's kind of a drastic change from seeing like the cutesy Snow White to the gross, nasty Gremlins. It's kind of just like a jarring, like transition.
The Beauty and the Beast moment.
Yeah, like a striking
that
transition.
they go back into being cutesy, even though they're ravenous.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So yeah, I think it's just like a cartoon versus like the reality of they're just like disgusting.
Well, it's almost like cartoon on cartoon at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
At this point in the movie, it's just a cartoon watching a cartoon.
Yeah. They burn down the fucking movie theater.
Yeah.
They explode the broiler and burn the place down.
Yeah.
In which case,
somehow killing all of them
in
one go.
One go.
Except for Spike.
That's it. Spike is not in the movie theater. He went to go get more snacks. So he broke into the place across the street to go get more Babe Ruths.
Yes. I thought it was Snickers.
I thought he had whatever.
Oh, also, I guess just like a movie trivia moment.
Yeah.
In the States, at least, they put Snow White on in cinemas almost every year.
Oh.
Around Christmas.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. They, roughly every decade.
Why? But okay, sure.
Yeah, so like once or twice every decade, they would just put it out.
People like Disney movies.
So I guess it was culturally made sense.
Yeah,
in the time, not for us, but for
it connected you to the real world.
I remember going to see Lion King around Christmas time. Like not when it first came out, when they had like a re-showing. I remember movie theaters and stuff around our area would be like, "Hey, Disney's doing a special event, and they're going to show it for 2 weeks, and it would just be the weekends."
That movie came out when I was way young to go to theaters. Do you know what the first movie I remember going to theaters to see was?
What was the first movie?
Welcome to a podcast within a podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a podcast within a podcast where we talk about those movies you first went to in theaters. What do you remember?
My first film that I ever remember going to see in theaters was Titanic.
You seen the Titanic?
In theaters.
How
as a
old
child.
were you? Like 10?
Far too, probably younger than that.
Came in 97.
Probably younger than that.
97.
I definitely have a memory of it.
97.
Because I went with my mom.
You were in
so 97. I was born 88, so I was 9.
Okay, almost.
Yeah.
I got the release right, though.
I remember my parents going to see it and my dad coming back being like, great movie.
It's 3 hours.
The screen wasn't big enough.
Yeah.
And that was like like you got to go see that. Like that needed to get released. I mean, they did Future On to do IMAX.
Yeah.
And stuff. Did you go to the movies a lot?
Oh, as a teenager, not as a child. Not as a child. As a teenager, I went to a lot of movies.
Okay. Yeah, we went as kids whenever we could. and we'd have like uncles and aunts and stuff that would take us, and we were fortunate enough to go see. And my fucking uncles were great for saying, hey, we're going to go see whatever the G-rated movie was. And then we'd actually go see, and I was like 8 or whatever, right? 7, 8 or whatever. And we go see the newest like James Bond. I remember seeing, so we like GoldenEye, I seen in theaters.
Yes.
I seen a lot of movies because I'm a little younger than you. So the fact that like my aunts and uncles or like my dad's friends that were uncles were sneaking us into movies and stuff were great. Yeah. I cannot wait to do Stargate with you because that movie I peed my pants in the movie theater.
I love that movie.
Oh, because you didn't go to the bathroom?
I didn't.
You were just so in.
I was so into the movie, and so like, there's got to be at least another like 2 minutes left, and it was like the final act of Stargate, and I just pissed myself right there. I was probably. I gotta look up Stargate real quick and do some quick math here.
So while we're looking at that, so yeah, they burn down, kill all the gremlins.
Thank you.
And then basically it's now the standoff between them and Spike.
Because Spike went on a candy run.
Because Spike went on a candy run. It's them and Spike in a generic shop with it's got everything. It's got toys, it's got food, it's got a fucking water fountain in a greenhouse.
John, I think it was either Joe or Chris Columbus walked on that set. Especially like the scene where it showed like all the hunting gear and like the coats and everything.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know like we're meant to like set dress, but holy shit. This is like a fully stocked like department store.
It was wild.
Just the attention to detail they're like I was not expecting.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I asked for a department store. I didn't expect in a department
Like,
store.
I
Literally.
wanted boxes, empty boxes. What are we gonna do with all this shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
To follow up real quick on the podcast within a podcast, Amanda, what was the earliest movie you remember? And then we'll get back to the department store stuff, 'cause we're gonna land a plane.
I remember going to the movies, and I'm pretty sure it was either Beauty or the Beast or Lion King that we went to, and I was so young.
Oh, you would have been.
Well, I was born in 90, so I was
Beauty and
like,
the Beast was 91.
okay, not Beauty and the Beast then. What, Lion King?
Lion King was 94.
So even then, I would have been only 4.
So to
But-
be fair, I remember seeing Lion King and Stargate. I remember peeing my pants in Stargate watching the movie because I wanted to stay for the final
So
15 minutes, and I was 3.
yeah,
It came out in 94. They both came out.
so I don't know, because I remember being in a theater but not paying attention. But like and I don't remember
I
going.
love you so much.
Well, I was 4.
It was on.
That was last week.
Now, I don't remember. I know we went, but we also rented a lot of movies. So the first one that I actually consciously remember like being engrossed in was fucking Shrek.
Oof.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. The
But
first
I
one's
was
good. The first
pissed.
one's
Great
good.
movie.
No.
First one's good.
I was angry because I had it was my 11th birthday, and I really wanted to see Atlantis.
The Lost Empire.
I really wanted to see Atlantis. And when we got there, my parents bought tickets, and it was me, my sister, and my mom and dad. And I look at the ticket, and I look where we're going. I'm like, wait, this is wrong. We're supposed to be seeing Atlantis. She's like, no, we're going to see Shrek. And I was pissed. And I'm an 11-year-old. So I'm like this, just like angry.
Audio listeners, Nintendo Geek is crossing her arms and
So just, like,
bridging
being-
her
Like a
eyebrows
petulant
as
child.
close
Super
together as
pouty,
possible.
And I'm trying my hardest not to fucking laugh at Shrek.
You try not to enjoy it,
Yeah,
but you're enjoying
But
it.
it's fucking funny.
Shrek, I think, gets better the older you watch it.
It does, yeah.
So
what I
I
mean?
was angry for maybe about 20 minutes, and then I think we rented Atlantis when it came out.
That's the
That's
proper way to
funny.
watch that movie.
But yeah, Shrek is the first movie that I remember actually sitting through and like watching.
I don't know if I'm allowed to tell this story yet. I don't know if the what's it called where you're not allowed to get committed for a crime that's too old.
Oh,
I paid to go see Shrek
Okay.
and then immediately went and watched Atlantis without paying.
We,
I wish I
Yeah.
wish
'Cause
I
I-
could have done that.
I was a little bit older than you, so
Yeah.
my parents let me go to the theater by myself.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I
We
really
do that all the
wanted to
time.
see Atlantis.
we do that all the time.
Yeah.
We'd go, we'd pay for a movie for like $6 or whatever back in the day when, the economy wasn't fucking terrible. And we'd go see a film and then get out and
just
go and watch
monkey
another
around
one.
until the next one showed
Or
up.
we would just open the exit door and let whoever the fuck we wanted
That
in.
was an old school
That
one.
was a
yeah.
good one,
I've
too.
never done that one.
That was
but-
great. That was easy. You waited till after the
So that sucks that you
anyway,
only got to see one because I got both.
They
Yeah.
they blow up the theater.
Yes.
They blow up the theater.
We're already past that. We're at the convenience.
We're in the department store.
He knows exactly. No. He asks Kate, "Where's the boiler?" She's like, "Follow me." They go behind the screen.
Well, I know because I work in every fucking place in this city.
He knows.
I live.
He's like, "Don't breathe in the gas," as he has Gizmo in his backpack.
Yeah.
And then he knows exactly what lever to like mess up the boiler, which we know because we used to take care of the building. The guy said the last boiler explosion was like 1960s, and it can level a block.
It's a gas
It's a
line.
bomb.
Oh, yeah, I get it. It's a gas. It kind of did. It blew up like a massive building.
movie theater.
So
Yeah.
he blew up half of the square.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean,
Level.
I would know what one to pull. It's like everyone has a boiler in their house. It's the same thing, just bigger, and it's just the gas line.
Yeah.
That's
His dad was an
fine.
inventor. That doesn't mean anything. That's just an answer.
True.
Yeah.
It's a
But
statement.
yeah,
I just
so
said a
he-
fact. I didn't really say anything.
He
His dad
levels-
was an inventor, you know.
That's
He
like,
blows up the local. Okay, so let's. Okay, just he blows up the local movie theater on Christmas Eve.
Built 100 years ago.
Yeah, where's that family?
somewhere else.
Somewhere else.
They don't live there anymore.
Yeah, they evacuated.
Yeah,
That's
they
true.
or were already
Already
dead
dead.
True. Okay,
because the
go on.
place was overrun by
Who's driving
gremlins.
the plane? We chase Spike down into what arguably would be the best sequence, except it goes on for a little too long, I find, with Gizmo driving around in the Barbie car.
Yeah, and the dog, the not Chekhov's gun, the Doug's gun. Is that what they call that? A Doug's gun if it just doesn't
Doug's
pay
gun.
off.
Yeah,
Oh.
it doesn't. It's a dud. I find the
Doug's
hunt
dead.
back and forth. I find Spike fucking with Billy the entire
That was
time.
fun.
Remember, like we're building Spence. He's shooting him. Like it was.
He shot him with the tiniest crossbow.
I love it. The hand
Where the
cross-
fuck do you get tiny?
It's a hand crossbow. It's the 80s.
Okay,
Women
a
had
hand
gun-
crossbow is the size of Spike. Yes.
Listen, he could have had a gun. It would have been way worse.
He did have a gun.
He
did have a
did
gun.
have a gun, and he
He's
missed
like,
him.
"Ooh,
Also,
God."
they were also tiny guns.
Well, yeah. Have you not seen guns in America?
Yeah.
They're huge or they're pocket sized.
That's true.
Why do you think all these guys are shooting their dicks off?
I did
They
love
stick them in their phone. Their phone vibrates. The gun fires.
I did love the scene where suddenly you hear the chainsaw
Oh,
the
yeah.
running, and the guy and Billy's just like, what is that? And he kind of comes out between a bunch of
It just
clothing.
runs out of the
He's just,
clothing.
"Ah!" And then I
So-
love when it pulls him away.
So that scene wasn't originally in the script. That was only added once. I think it was Joe was walking around the set and noticed they had made like a little Texas Chainsaw Massacre like homage rack.
That's exactly what I thought it was. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's a Texas
there's
Chainsaw Massacre.
I forgot to point it out, but they passed by like a little rack, and it's like he's like, let's use that. So then they figured out how to get him to hold it and use it, and they're like, yeah, let's do that.
That's amazing.
So that was added like last minute.
it was a funny
They
scene.
change the baseball bats out every couple frames because it's more and more wood removed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved that scene. That was a great scene.
And then we get the showdown in the greenhouse
Yes.
because Kate doesn't know how to fucking work a light
She
switch.
turns on the fountain.
Yeah. What a
She turns on the fountains.
didn't make it any better. No, it was weird, kind of weird. It's like Gizmo opens up one sunlight and it kills Spike, but really Spike could have just like stepped to the left. He could have just been like, and to jump to the left, or what is
Right.
it?
Yeah,
a
the
step-
cha-cha slide.
No, not the cha-cha slide. I was thinking the time warp
Oh,
dance.
it's just a
just
jump
a
to
jump
the
to the
left.
left.
Yeah.
He could have just
Use
done
your
that
hips
and
real
been
tight.
safe. Yeah, but it was a great death scene. I'll give it that.
Yeah, it's gory as all hell. It kept going, and you're like, "Oh, cool, they got him." And then he comes
Oh,
back,
I
and you're like,
love that.
"Oh God, he got
Oh,
him!"
God.
And then you're like, "Oh no!" And then he melts into nothing, and you're like, "Oh fuck, they got
Oh,
him!
the skeleton jumping out and just slopping on the ground.
They got him!
Yeah,
They got him!" Okay, no, they didn't. Oh, they got him! No, they didn't.
well, they got it, and then they leave you with that like. There's a little bit of bubbling coming up. It's
Yeah.
like, is that one being spawned? Is that
well,
a
he was in the
spawn?
middle of spawning more.
Exactly, which is why it's like, oh, is one of them gonna just pop out of that right at the end when it's
Because
kind of bubbling?
he was clearly getting wet the whole time. He was literally holding on.
He was
to
into it.
And it wasn't until he did like I'm putting my finger in.
Yeah, it was a matter of
I
like
loved it though.
he was
He's
caught
such
between-
He's such a bitch.
he's such a bitch and such
He's
a trickster.
such a
He
bitch.
could have just dunked himself in water and said he spent a little bit more time
Be like,
to
"Hey,
fuck with Bill.
Yeah.
I win.
I win, yeah.
Not to spoil anything, but the second movie's called The New Batch, so we'll see what happens to Spike.
Yeah, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, on this holiday season, welcome to a podcast within a podcast where we bridge those brows and rate those eyebrows. We're talking about special effects, standout moments. We already kind of did that with the kill stuff, but realistically, what I want to talk about is just the generic special effects across the board, the puppet work and everything like that. Were there any Gremlins so far in this film? Because when we get to the second one, they differentiate a little bit more, kind of like the Seven Dwarves, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
That's the confusion I had when watching this for the first time, or again tonight. Whereas I'm like, wasn't there a Sleepy? Wasn't there a Dopey? Wasn't there, like, they do that? They do that because they're like, fuck, we need to tell them apart.
And we need to make more toys.
Exactly. Was there anything really before we kind of end the show, or I go on another random tangent, that stuck out about this film, special effect wise, prop wise? Was there anything? Inventions? You know what? No, Dad's inventions. What was your favorite Dad's invention?
All right, I'm going to.
Gremlins.
Okay, I'm going to give the. I first of all, I loved his hammer. As a construction guy, I kind of like that, but it was completely useless. But I love it. No, my favorite special effect was Spike's skeleton.
Awesome.
It was
awesome,
beautiful,
awesome.
It was glorious as it just popped out. It looked cool. It had a nice amount of mucus on it. And it was really cool model. And it kind of jumped out and then flopped on the ground. And that was cool too, when it was kind of flopping on the ground. And it was kind of still alive for a moment there. It was kind of reaching out as it was kind of melting away. Beautiful, beautiful special effects.
You were saying before we get to Amanda that these Gremlins reminded you a lot of Pathfinder's goblins.
Yeah.
Just in the energy and chaos and like, what would they do? Well, they would either fight, fuck, or eat each other.
Yes.
And sometimes a little bit of both.
Yep.
And then it was just a big ball of chaos. And you were kind of giggling to yourself, being like, oh, that's awful. Like, that's great. I love that. Because they're just like, why not just imitate stuff now?
Honestly, there's a part of me that's thinking those who wrote them at Paizo were inspired by this.
Loved it, probably, right?
This is, I think we've played we've done a drunken session.
Stuff. Yep,
we beat goblins. So you kind of get that chaotic energy. And I can see where I could, if someone, they'll probably never admit it for legal reasons.
Sure.
But I could totally see someone at a bar going, oh yeah, we totally based it off the Gremlins.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, because they're not quite monkeys.
Yeah.
And they're not quite reptiles. And they're not quite, like, what is a gremlin?
Yeah. No, it makes total sense. No, but I think I like the death scene. The skeleton was just chef's kiss. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Amanda.
I really like the effect when Gizmo first spawned the original 5. And they were literally just balloons covered in fur.
Yeah.
Is that what they were?
Yeah.
Oh.
They were latex balloons just like blown up from underneath that got them like bigger and bigger.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's just little tricks like that where it's like, how can we do this as cheap as possible but still practical?
Yeah. It was well done. It was a creepy scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's unsettling and it almost looks painful.
That's what I mean. They had kind of Gizmo going, ah!
Well,
And they're
poor
like, let's
Gizmo.
do it more. And they're like, oh, I don't feel
they
okay
didn't
with
even
this.
care about Gizmo because like he freaked out from the camera. They didn't console him.
Yeah.
They didn't even like berate the mom for being like, oh, it's like, oh, by the way, I forgot to say the rules. They didn't comfort him when he was spawning. They didn't when he spawned again with the teacher. Like they also like they cared about him, but he was trying. Yeah, the same thing. Like the shopkeeper was right. He was treating him like a novelty and not like a pet.
Yes.
Or like an actual living being. So just the immaturity was there.
Yes. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They weren't ready for the responsibility.
Exactly.
Crazy Asian witch doctor, Shao Kahn, like slightly on the nose racist stereotype of.
I don't know.
I don't want to get into that.
There
But
were
yeah.
so many effects, and just like the puppets in general, like it was neat how they did it with any scene that he was holding Gizmo, like physically holding him.
Mm-hmm.
They had to run like 30 feet or like 10 feet of wires, like through his clothes and out his sock.
Oh, that would make sense.
So he's like, it was nice because he worked with the puppet so much that he treated it like an actual creature. But he's like, it was also hard because I'm literally dragging wires.
And it's probably heavy because of all the
Yeah.
wires.
Well, it's the
So-
Baby Yoda problem. It's
Yeah.
the Grogu issue that we run into now, right?
So they were happy when he was in the backpack because everything was contained in the bag.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because the reason why Gizmo wasn't so prevalent, too, I'm getting off a little bit.
No, go for it.
In the second half or the second act was because in the original script that Spielberg actually got him to change was, Gizmo was supposed to turn into Spike.
Oh.
So it was written that he was going to turn into the evil, and then at the end, if he would have killed or incapacitated him, he would have transferred back.
Got it. But they wanted to keep a good toy for kids to play with.
He's like, you need Gizmo. People are going to love Gizmo.
Yeah.
So he needs to be the one at the end to be the hero, which he was pissed about, Zach. Because they did two endings. Like, there was an ending where he did, he, on the documentary on the DVD, is I did, this die-hard, leap into the air, where I was the one that pulled it, and I opened the shutter.
Yeah.
With Gizmo. And then when he's seen the movie at the end, he's like, what the heck? Where's my scene? What do you mean Gizmo's the one that saved the day? And then Spielberg said it wasn't The Adventures of Billy. It was Gizmo. It was Gremlins.
Yeah, makes total sense.
Yeah. So little things like that, but
It's interesting. That's an interesting take on it, right? Because it's like,
he
yo,
was,
bro,
he
the
wanted
movie's
to
not
be the
called
hero.
Mushroom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to say the facts.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gizmo's what's going to sell toys, not Billy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's like, this is the star. You are the star, but you're not the hero. Gizmo is.
Right.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
So just the way that they were able to make the puppets look so real, the dog was convinced. Mm-hmm. When he first came out of the box, the dog's ears went up, and the dog was growling at it, thinking it was an actual animal.
That would make sense.
That's how well they did the special effects.
I just thought that was good dog acting.
Practical effects fool everyone.
Yeah.
Especially
the dog
if they're
thought
good.
they were real.
Yeah.
Anytime the dog was with the Gremlins, he thought they were just annoying puppies.
That's quite fun.
Yeah. So just the animatronics in general was amazing.
I want to say creature design. Big fucking fan of creature design. The Nega Gizmo, the Spike, the Gremlins themselves, not necessarily Gizmo, but the Gremlins, we'll say, awesome. Each one having a little bit of personality, even though they're roughly kind of the same puppet.
Yeah.
They're roughly kind of the same thing, but they're like, okay, how do we doctor them up?
They
how
put
do
a
we
different hat on them, and that's how you know they're different.
Well, different hat, or
the mohawk.
Yeah.
The mohawk, right? But second one does a better job of it, but also this one you kind of have where the character and life a puppeteer can bring to an inanimate object shines with this movie.
Yeah.
You do get that. I think the bar scene, especially, where it's not the clothing, but it's the hunched over. It's we got eyeballs that should fit in them, but what if we turn them sideways and stick them into these ones? Just so there's some sort of differentiation in size, and they all don't look quite right, but then how does the puppeteer work with that and give that creature, even if it's on scene for a minute, 30 seconds,
and you can
personality.
Tell one that's clearly cowardice at the poker table, and one that's more courageous, even
shivering,
though they're the same model,
right?
But one's shivering a bit more and looking away, whereas one's more direct.
Right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
That is masterful puppet work, because you look at it, you see a scene, and you immediately go, "Oh my god, I get that character," even though it's not a thing. It's a thing. It's not an actor, right? That is part of the movie that shines for me. It is animatronics, and there is a lot of puppet work, and I'm a sucker for Jim Henson stuff.
Yeah.
I am a sucker, but those moments shine huge for me with this in the movie, and the fact that it is I can't wait to watch Critters with you at some point and do this, because it is if it is puppet work, because I've never seen it. So if it is puppet work,
that'd be reliving a childhood
trauma. Oh, you work through it. It's fine. I think it's wonderful. There's wonderful, little weird rubber latex creatures and shit that are
it's
awesome.
An acting art form.
Favorite one, gotta be the streaker behind the bar.
Oh, that was funny.
Oh,
In
yeah.
the coat. Yeah.
I think that was the only one where I heard you be like, "Ha!"
Get him. He's got no peener.
That was funny.
Fucking makes me laugh. They just make me go, ugh. They wince like alligators, right? And then they're just so gross, and they giggle at everything, and it's awesome, and it's awful with these gnarly,
unrelenting giggles.
the unrelenting giggles and the weird crooked teeth. They're worse than goblins. You know what I mean? Because they're everywhere. But But that's where I end for my special effects kind of thing. NECA and then another company, I want to say Gentle Giant, makes life-size ones
That sounds like something I never want
that
to
are
have in my life.
yeah big. I want to say they're about 2 to 2.5 feet tall, depending on which one you get. But you can buy the one with the coat.
I'm okay.
You can.
Just got a guy for robotics that just does this. As
He does that.
People come into your house, it just does this.
I don't necessarily know if they are the latex figure within like a skeleton, so you can pose them,
Okay. Yeah.
or they are more of a hand puppet.
I don't want any of those in my house.
But NECA, no, I don't have those coming or anything like that. No, NECA has did do. NECA had did do. NECA had done. Did a beady bop. Squibbly boop. NECA did a line of figures as well from all of the movies, including the new batch where they get a little bit more of the variants of the fat one, sleepy one, the lady one, Spike,
Greta.
even Greta. I apologize, Greta. And
prostitute
they're
has a name.
wonderful.
Oh, no,
they're
wait till you
awful.
see.
They're lopsided. I think they're very much. They need a stand to stand up because of how heavy their heads are. Kind of just their like hunches and shit. Fully articulated. Hide them in your little sister's dollhouse or your Barbie dream house and just have them wreak havoc. But for me, that's my eyebrows. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go quickly around the room because I want to end tonight's episode and move back on to my rum and eggnog and my vodka orange juice because those are two things that should never mix.
Oh my God.
As we wrap up our little holiday party and our holiday episode for this year. Final thoughts, ratings, reviews. Nintendo Geek, did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it?
I mean, I
Gremlins.
still I haven't seen this movie in like over 15 years. Like, I can't remember the last time I was on. Like, I haven't been to my grandma's. My grandma passed away a few years ago, so we haven't been obviously there to watch movies. And
I mean, we could show up. It's easy to break a lock.
I think they sold that house.
It's easy to break a lock.
But I don't know. It still holds up. It's funny watching it as an adult. And yeah, it was more colorful, I guess, as a kid. It was more like, like, oh, it's so gross. Like,
Yeah.
But I still say, like, I do love it. I will still try to watch it every, like, few Christmases. I don't know if I could watch it, like, every Christmas, but I definitely want to watch the second one now.
Yeah.
Because that one's going to be more unhinged.
Oh yeah, it's not an every year Christmas tradition.
No.
It doesn't hold up as like a National Lampoon or a Christmas Story, but I feel like for me, even personally, like I completely forgot how fucking much I enjoyed this movie. Like I forgot how much I had fun with this film.
I forgot that it was based like on Christmas Eve. Like
Yeah.
I knew it was like a Christmas movie just because it was on, but I'm like, oh shit, like I forgot because apparently they wanted it to be released for Christmas, but they needed like a big hit to go up against Ghostbusters.
Right.
So that's the only reason why it was released in June, and then they re-released it in August. And it's like they were so close. Why didn't they just? But I guess overseas it got released around Christmas, and it did really well too. But
Cool.
I don't know. I still love it. I give it like a solid like 8.5.
Wow.
9
wow.
even, like
8.5.
just for
Don't give me a flat rookie score. Give me
like 8.7 then. Just plot was there. Characters were great. They did kind of do the damsel in distress type thing, but like she was still like she held her own.
Yeah.
For the most part.
The mom had a kick-ass couple scenes.
Oh yeah, just for the mom. Yeah, she was like full Linda Carter at one point.
Sure.
Effects were great. Characters were great. Everyone had a personality.
Everyone had a larger than life personality.
Yeah,
That's
it was
where
almost
that cartoon
too much. It was very much like they did that on purpose because this is the same lot that was Back to the Future was filmed on. In the future, like it would go on to be, it's the same movie theater.
Yeah.
It's the same square. It's the same backlot, and that was done on purpose. Same thing why you didn't see anyone's breath.
Yeah, that makes
Because
sense.
it was filmed in L.A. or in California in the summer.
In LA.
So it was all white sand and then snow sometimes if it was cold enough.
Yeah, the snow looked all fake.
Yeah,
I
it was
think I
all
remember.
white sand.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just it just all worked. It's a very well-rounded movie
Yeah.
as compared to like other movies. And yeah, I would give it like a solid 8.7.
8.7. That's high for Gremlins.
I think that's my highest.
That I will have to double check, but I think so. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. It's solid.
Fantastic.
Rip it apart.
Do you want to go or you want me to go?
You can go.
No, you go.
I'm
'Cause
the
I'll
di- I
say
think I'm the
positive.
dissenting
Yeah,
voice
you
here.
go, and I'll say positive.
Oh,
Stuff,
okay,
so go
okay.
ahead.
You'll
for it.
end. You'll end.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have very minimal positive things to say.
Well, let's see. You hate Christmas. You hate fun. You
I-
hate.
yeah.
Okay.
I hate
Mr.
little tiny
Futterman.
Tim.
Yeah, you hate nostalgia.
I hate
Mr.
nostalgia.
Yeah.
No, there was no. It is not a good story because there is no. There's an event, but there's no story. There's no human or character evolve or change or growth. No one's
True.
learned. I don't want to say no one's learned a lesson because I don't want to imply like
I don't get them
PSA
fucking
level.
wet. That's
Yeah.
the lesson.
But there's no there is no character conflict. The son didn't start with the son or the father being shitty and learning responsibility as would the start of the movie would imply. Like, you're not ready, you don't have the responsibility. They didn't earn the responsibility through it. Nothing changed. The only thing that changed was a town is now destroyed. That's it.
Yeah.
Adam, you're gonna find
And
that
a bunch
with
of people are
lo-
dead.
You're gonna find that with a lot of Christmas movies.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're poking holes a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But what I'm simply saying is you're going to find that with a lot of Christmas
Sure,
movies.
but that doesn't make them good movies.
Every Hallmark Christmas movie, which we will eventually, our bonus episode for this month will be us going through a list I have compiled of every single Hallmark Christmas movie, and we will rate it just by the title. Stay tuned.
Sure. I don't
Oh, we're
like
doing it tonight.
I
It's
don't-
going to be great.
No, we're not.
I
I
don't
gotta go
like
to bed.
Christmas movies. I don't like Christmas movies.
Sure.
Generally.
Okay.
Generally. So yeah, that makes sense. But my point is because there's no story, there's no growth, there's no character change, there's no character conflict.
Okay.
This is a structure to make little SNL skits with Gremlins.
Sure.
And there wasn't enough of that to entertain me for the whole movie.
Okay.
Therefore, I wasn't that good of a movie. I spent most of my time going, when is this over? To, and then suddenly, all right, when's this over again? Because clearly they got back to the boring part. So sadly, because of that, I think this so far, minus Dragon Ball Evolution, because that one barely counts. This is probably going to be my lowest rating of a 4.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gremlins is a 4 to you.
Yeah, it was too chaotic.
Okay.
And I couldn't predict what was going to happen next, mostly because the movie didn't make any sense.
Okay.
I didn't see what the goal was, except for we want to make
stop
funny
the critters
Yeah,
at all cost.
that's just an event. It's not a story. So it just didn't grip me because of that. I had funny. If you'd shown me these on as little not Twitter, as little Instagram. Fuck, I'm not even a part of those connections. Little clips.
Sure.
I would have enjoyed it. And be like, that's a great little clip to have, but that's all I would want to see.
Right.
I don't want to see the whole movie. I just want to see fun little clips of the Gremlins in an SNL skit making fun of some other movie doing I would love to see Gremlins remaking the Pulp Fiction. Does he look like a bitch? That would be funny.
I think
You
you're right.
really have to watch the second one.
Sounds like it. But for this movie, it wasn't that great. It
But
had-
also, if you watch a clip of a reference with no context, then the joke's not funny either, though.
yeah, but if you do it like Muppet style, where you understand in the grander scheme what a gremlin is
Right.
because of some overarching development
Right.
through the meta, the meta of the world of you see what they do is they make fun of things.
Right.
Then that makes sense. But it being in a movie
Mm-hmm.
was not fun. It being a funny clip section of a SNL type, or Muppets like kind of show,
Yeah.
that would have been great. If they had boiled it down to the parts that were fun, I would have had fun. Except I had to spend an hour and a half for 10 minutes of fun.
Okay.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I feel like I had a lot of fun watching Gremlins. I forgot how great the movie was for me to enjoy. I feel like as a Christmas movie, it is not necessarily something I need to watch every year, but I genuinely found that I was delighted with what was given. Obviously, the plot being small town gets overrun by overconfident white dude. Kind of sucks, especially when someone's like, hey, here are the rules, don't fuck it up. And we've already said no, but the little kid sells it to him anyway, because what could go wrong? is the plot for a lot of movies, including like Return of the Living Dead and other zombie flicks, where it's like, hey, this could go really bad, we should do something, and then it just kind of gets shoved to the side because we want to make a quick buck or whatever.
Yep.
I think that being taken from the lens of these classic horror movies and spun through a latex Muppet
Yep.
dropped in the middle of Christmas time for children is a delightful twist and a nod of let's make adult jokes in a kids movie.
Yep.
I think the jokes themselves aren't necessarily great or bangers, but they do hold up because it is a lot of situational comedy.
Yep.
I think the moments where stuff does come up is a little predictable, but also the fact that it does come up and it's follow through means that it isn't necessarily like over thought out. Right? You sitting there going, hey, he's going to go to a swimming pool. What's the closest swimming pool in a small town, a YMCA? Well, that's not an over thought out problem. That is the logical thing where it's like, like, oh no, we have to stop him because you've already thought about it and the filmmakers have thought about it and that's the next scene kind of thing.
Yep. Yep.
Which is the aha moments for me in a way. The clock sequence, the how do these creatures, how do the pets, how does a cat destroy a house? How does a dog destroy a house and get away with it or try to hide it is interesting as well. Same thing with them fucking with the clocks. The chaos of the blood or the green ichor and everything shines in a very Sam Raimi, very 80s and almost 70s style grindhouse of what can we get away with. And this is one of those ones where these people who worked on it clearly watched movies.
Oh yeah.
And clearly were like, oh yeah, well I watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Can we do Texas Chainsaw Massacre for little kids?
Yep.
And it's just funny to see. I think all the acting wise are fine. I think I find you got to think of it where everybody who signs on for a Christmas movie knows they're not going to win an Academy Award.
Yeah,
it's a job. I think the fact that this movie went on to become a cult hit or get a sequel is interesting. I find the entire time the film is balancing trying to poke fun at Steven Spielberg, but also be like younger directors and actors being going through and trying to create a film but not take themselves too seriously. You see that with the Indiana Jones billboard. You see that with the Atari stuff. You see that with the E.T. dolls. And I find that it really is a time of the 80s. It's a product of the era, but it ages well. And I think Gremlins, honestly, for me, would probably be a 7-8.
7-8.
I think Gremlins is a 7-8. I think it's way more enjoyable than a Conan, or not a Conan, a He-Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's way more enjoyable than a Dragon Ball.
Oh, that's not.
You gave it a 4, my guy.
That's
I'm
a low bar.
Going higher up.
I think I gave Evolution like a 1.
Yeah, that was definitely one of
we
our
gave
worst.
Dragon Ball a higher score.
I gave it a 1. I
You
think.
did, but it's as geek or as raised by spoilers rounds out kind of thing. Yeah, I think it's 7-8. I think it's a fun holiday movie. I think it's chaotic as all hell. I completely understand why there's a cult following behind it. I completely understand why people would make toys off of this. I can definitely get why this is their movie. The fact that some of these actors didn't really go on to do stuff sucks.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Corey Feldman. Looking at you, Zach Gilligan. It's unfortunate, but there is a lot of good here. And there is a lot of actors having a great time on set.
Oh, for sure.
No one looks like they're begrudgingly like, oh my God, I'm going to get sprayed in the face with fake goo or orange juice, and I hate it. They're going, I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm getting paid to do it. And you can really see they're delighted. So it does have that low-budget horror movie vibe.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And that's where everyone's having a good time, being like, oh my God, I'm going to scream and thing, and then they're not expecting what
and they're
these
probably
things are
seeing
gonna
the
look
puppets and they're laughing
they
their
don't like
ass
they
off.
don't like the puppets kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're like, that's gross, get it away from me kind of thing. And people are fucking around in the background.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see special features or even the commentary on these, especially with the directors and stuff, and what they would cut and what they wouldn't cut
doc.
kind of thing. But yeah, I would honestly land I'd land Gremlins, at least Gremlins 1 at a 7-8. I personally think the second one is good, but it's not as good as the first one, personally.
Interesting.
That's where I'm coming from. It's a little bit more of the cliche and like, oh, they're having fun with it and shit, but it's also...
Based on what you guys are saying, I sound like I'm almost going to like 2 more than 1.
I think you might like 2 more than 1, but from where I'm coming from what I remember, not having seen Gremlins 2 in a long time, Gremlins 1 has a better story.
Interesting.
Gremlins 2 is just let's throw more chaotic shit at you and more slapstick.
Got it.
Because it's in a city. It's in like New York. It's not in a small town.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So
Well,
there's something about
I'm
the
excited
small
to check
town
it out.
vibe of chaos happening and how do we lock it down versus the city is overrun with gremlins. We get into the same problems with critters in fucking space.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it starts to
Yeah.
fall. it starts
I'm excited
fall
to
apart.
check that one out eventually.
Ladies and gentlemen, where are we landing on that? We thinking what?
Like,
He said a
it was-
4. You
it
said
like
a fucking
8, 7, 7, 8. So like what, a 6?
Are you happy with a 6?
I can live with that.
You can live with a 6?
Yeah.
I can live with a 6. You guys got rated it pretty high, so a 6 would be
Excuse
about
me.
right.
Homie, you rated it amateur. A flat 4?
Yeah.
You're out of your mind. It's
Well-
not a flat 4.
Anything below 5 is basically I don't want to watch that again.
Okay.
Fair enough.
That's fair. That's fair.
I would not want to watch it again.
That's fair.
I would have to begrudgingly do it.
That's fair. That's fair. Ladies and gentlemen, support small businesses. Try not to shop on Amazon. We love you. Happy holidays. You can find us everywhere. We are on the YouTube, the X, and the internet itself. We were some of your Spotify's wrap-up list, so thank you very much for listening to us, and thank you very much for letting Spotify apparently wrap us up and giving us a shout-out to the show. I am Geek Movie House,
Nintendo Geek.
Plebeian
Oh my
Adam.
god.
and you can find us at RBS Pod. Happy holidays, and good night.
Bye,
Be kind,
Billy.
rewind.